Yep, you better figure it out because we're starting right now.
Okay. I'll just wing it. I don't care.
Get it on. Figure it out.
We're on right now?
We're on.
We're on, and people are watching me confused.
Yes.
Welcome back to another episode of Wisco Fanatics. Myself and Tyler are back for another Wednesday. Today we are going to be covering the last week of Brewers games, the Pirates series, 2 games from the Cubs series and the Mets series, and we're going to be talking about Bucks free agency. Before I get into these dad jokes that I really wanted to tell, I'm very excited. I'm going to ask how my buddy's doing. Tyler, how you doing today, buddy?
Oh, not bad. Got a
Not
little bit of thunderstorms rolling through the area, so I'm wondering if that's what's affecting my internet a little bit. But I'm good to go right now, so ready to go.
I know.
Didn't really, honestly, if I can be real with you, It was so it snuck up on me that we had a show today over the last couple of days because it hasn't been like a normal week.
Yeah.
And then I'm so focused on Saturday, that's seriously so much where my focus is. Not that I didn't focus on today's show, but it's like today's show snuck up on me over the last couple of days, and now I'm super focused on Saturday.
I'll be honest with you, it's a little weird to have an episode immediately after a holiday. This might be the first time that we've done that. I don't know.
I feel like we had one might have been right before the holidays, I guess.
Yeah, right before the holidays, not after. It's a little weird. So anyways, as I drop them and I have them again, I'm going to get into these jokes. Here we go. How come there aren't any knock-knock jokes about America?
I don't know.
Because freedom rings.
Oh.
Y'all, they're corny. Did you hear the one about the Liberty Bell?
Doesn't ring a bell.
It cracked me up.
Good
try, though. A for effort.
I
I told Chantel, my girlfriend, I was like, it's got to be something about ringing, because I just heard the freedom rings. Here's the last one. What do you call an American sketch? A Yankee Doodle. And those are your dad jokes for the day.
Super.
Giannis
would be proud.
He would.
Which, speaking of Giannis, we can move into our Bucks free agency. We're going to start with that today. That's probably going to be the shorter part of today's show, is talking about the Bucks. Yeah. But I had to do it. I put on my number 22. I put on my Khris Middleton jersey today in honor of the Bucks bringing Khris Middleton back on a 3-year, $102 million contract.
Yes, sir.
So he was the first move that the Bucks made in free agency. What did you think of that deal? That's $34 million a season.
Yeah, so that's exactly where I went right away. I wanted to see the per year, 34 a year. I can deal with 34 a year for Khris Middleton, especially seeing some of these contracts coming out today, like Fred VanVleet and all this stuff. It's like, you give me a Khris Middleton, a guy that's performed on the highest stage at the highest level and been very, very good. He's been one of the best second fiddles in NBA Finals history in recent memory, in my opinion. Definitely top 3. So you give me that for 34 a year, I'm good with that. A guy that can shoot, create. He has great. I mean, him and Giannis are going to be going into their 11th season together. So I mean, that's a great move, right?
Yep. And I like that. What it does is it makes Khris Middleton a free agent at 35.
Yep.
It puts us 3 years from now in the exact same position we were at with Brook Lopez, where Brook Lopez is on a contract year, plays arguably his best season, potentially of his career. I mean, you look back at his younger days when he was a 20-10 guy with the Nets, but you look at since the second stage of his career where he became a 3-and-D guy essentially, and contending for Defensive Player of the Year, and now he got a 2-year, $48 million contract, which is the next one, which 2 for 48 was a little surprising for me. I didn't think he was going to get $24 million a year. I'm not opposed to it by any means, especially for a guy who just finished in the top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year. So what did you think of the Brook Lopez deal?
Well, there's a couple layers of this because I heard rumors. I don't know how true this is, and we never know how true anything is, right? You have to fact check, and then you have to fact check the fact, right? But there was apparently rumors that him and Houston had a done deal, and he kind of backdoored them by going and talking to the Bucks again, and Horst kind of sealed the deal with the extra little money. That was just word on the street. So obviously, I love Big Brook. Again, it's gonna all circulate around the superstar, right? So I'm going to talk about his connection with Giannis on defense, especially. They absolutely control the paint. Giannis has become a very good playmaker, which not enough people talk about. And their high-low offense when Brook is down low or Giannis is down low is just something that it's a beautiful thing because Brook can space the floor, obviously, for Giannis. But then when we want Giannis to be a facilitator, Brook can dominate down low. So I love that versatility with this Bucks roster. So bringing Khris and Brook back, me and you were on board with that for weeks. So that was something that we really wanted.
And for me, bringing Brook Lopez back, it does one really important thing, and that is offensively, it keeps the opponent's big man out of the paint.
Yep.
That opens so many things up for guys like Giannis and Drew Holiday, even Grayson Allen, honestly.
Yeah.
I talked a lot about his driving kick ability last year. So then in addition to Brook Lopez, we also got Robin Lopez back. What do you think of that move?
Well, if he doesn't produce on the court, he's definitely going to produce in the locker room by keeping everybody's spirits up high. The WWE wrestling matches are definitely coming back, which what Bucks fan is not excited about that, dude?
Right?
What NBA fan in general? Yeah, what NBA fan doesn't like that kind of stuff, right? You know, his rivalry with mascots, his whole career is something awesome. I can't wait to see what Bango and the Bucks come up with for a welcome back for Robin. That's going to be funny. So yeah, I'm excited. I like the move. Keeps Brook happy, and you know we still get some good veteran defense as a backup big man.
Mm-hmm. And we get the return of the Boston 3 party celebration.
Yes. Oh, so good. All of it's good.
Vibes are immaculate.
Yes.
Taylor says, "Hey," with a lot of Y's and a lot of exclamation marks. Taylor, I don't know if it's too far for you to go, but if you can, come to Plymouth on Saturday.
Yeah.
Jake and I are going to be at Mill Street Day, and that'll be an opportunity to see us live and in person.
And an opportunity to win some free fan locks.
Oh, true. That is true. We'll get to that. I
don't know if I was supposed to name drop that, but I think we got to reel him in a little bit here.
Oh yeah. Bummer.
Damn it.
Okay. So before we get to what I would call, I guess, the quote unquote big signing, I want to mention the 2 guys who will not be back, and that is Joe Ingles and Javon Carter. What's up, Justin? Mm-hmm. What do you think about the losses of Joe Ingles and Javon Carter?
Personality-wise, I love Joe Ingles. I love that he talks smack and he doesn't run 25 miles per hour and jump 45 inches in the air. That is absolutely amazing to me. I don't know if that's amazing to anybody else, but usually the guys that talk the shit are the most athletic guys, right? He really just gets to the rim at 2 miles an hour and shoots threes. So it's amazing that he talks like that.
He could pass.
Yeah, he's a great playmaker in the pick and roll. But I don't think Joe Ingles is going to be as big of a loss as people think, especially with a guy that we're going to talk about here pretty soon. And Javon Carter, obviously, we loved his tenacity on defense. We loved that he picked up full court. We loved that he wasn't afraid of any moment. He's grown into a very, very good player over the last couple of years. So absolutely wish him the best. I'm glad he got paid. I'm glad he gets to play for his hometown team because if I had that opportunity, I would want to as well. So
exactly.
I think he's going to be a good player for them, but Chicago is not the same culture as Milwaukee. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, and it's the thing. Like, I agree with you on Javon Carter. He's getting paid 3 times as much to play for his hometown team.
Yeah.
And he's going to have an opportunity to start, especially if Lonzo Ball is injured.
Yeah.
Josh is getting ahead of us.
Who's the guy that what did the Bulls just apply for? I forgot what it was. They get like $10 million off his contract or whatever.
It's a disabled player.
Yeah, that's what it is. And that's really sad, dude. And I don't care who he played for. He's still a human being.
Yep.
And he was trying to live out his dream, man. And for him to have it just end like that, and like Lonzo seems like he has a good head on his shoulders, especially dealing with the dad that he has. So, man, that sucks for him, honestly. Yeah, I feel for him.
That's the thing. Like when it comes to especially like rivals, like we don't want any of our rivals to be injured because we want to beat them when they're at their best, so they have no excuses.
Right.
That's the competitive nature of sports. So Taylor got a little bit ahead, and Taylor asked, "Who do we grab next?" And we can tie this into Josh's question. Josh also asked, "Who grabs Bol?"
You want the Bucks?
I mean, I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either.
I don't
Another guy
know
that
how
spaces the
much he's going
floor.
to play, though, is the thing. So to me, I'll answer Josh's question first, and then we can get back to the Bucks.
Go ahead.
As far as Bol is concerned, a team that I could really see taking a chance on him is the Indiana Pacers.
Oh, that's
They
smart.
seem like a team that kind of wants to try to win a little bit of something this year and maybe make it into the playoffs. For them to grab a guy like Bol who can offer some versatility off the bench behind Miles Turner, something that they really haven't had out of a big man since they had Sabonis. They've rolled with just kind of fill in guys like Goga Batadze and stuff like that, guys who are just placeholders to get dunked on, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think Bol is an interesting idea to potentially back up Miles Turner. Taylor asks, is Bol good? What do you think?
I think Bol is talented. I don't think he's put the whole product together, though.
Right.
That's how I would explain that.
He's got a skill set that doesn't fit his body type, but that could make him an interesting player.
The problem that I have is that we signed Robin Lopez, right? And obviously, the vibes are like immaculate, like you said. I loved how you worded that. If we didn't, I would say we're 100% on the Bol train because he's going to get more minutes. I absolutely 100% agree with your opinion on the Indiana Pacers, by the way. Great breakdown. I think he's going west, though. And I think because – and I'm not saying he's going to go to the Suns, the new most stacked team. But honestly, he feels like a Warrior. They seem like a team that takes like project guys, journeyman type people. They have a great culture as well. You throw him on there, you let him get coached up by Draymond Green, get him some toughness. He's already around shooting, so he's going to have a ton of space. It just seems like the right fit for me. He could be a change of pace guy on offense compared to – I'm blanking on his name now.
Looney?
Yeah, Looney obviously is defense first, so he could be kind of a change of pace. So the first team I thought of was the Warriors.
Yeah, Josh, I'm not opposed to it. I just think as far as the current roster construction, I mean, you're already looking at the Lopez brothers and Bobby Portis in the front court with Giannis, who, could play a little bit more small forward this year, which I don't really necessarily think is going to happen. But, I mean, you're essentially looking at one big man position left on the roster, and the Bucks already have, a Taco Fall on the Summer League roster. I'm not saying Taco Fall is going to make the regular season roster, but I mean, if we're looking at guys to take flyers on, I think the Bucks already have their flyer guy as far as big man is concerned. So Taylor asked a good question. We should target a good backup point guard, shooting guard. So shooting guard was kind of addressed, and we haven't talked about this guy yet, is Malik Beasley. So what was your thoughts on the Bucks kind of sniping this guy away from the Lakers, actually?
Yeah. So, and we got him for really, really dirt cheap, man. 1 year,
veteran minimum. That's shocking to me.
$2.7 million, man. This is a guy that has had 6 years of double-digit scoring in the NBA. And people are going to be like, oh, dude, 10 points. That's hard. It's hard to score in the NBA. These are the best players in the world. And he's had 5 straight years of double digits, right?
For mostly a bench guy.
And his best year was in 2020, 2021. He averaged 19 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists. That's pretty damn solid.
Yeah.
You have a potential 20-point per game scorer as your backup. This guy can space the floor. He is a 38% three-point shooter, and he is an 80% free throw shooter. So those are two things that I like.
Good call on that.
Dirt cheap, a guy that has playoff experience. Again, he can score. He knows how to get a bucket. He's a 3-and-D kind of guy. He's going to fit right in, man. He is going to fit right in. What a freaking steal by Horst.
Good call on the free throw percentage. That is definitely an underrated aspect of this. The Bucks definitely struggle at the free throw line, and we know it's partially, I shouldn't say partially, a big chunk of it is from one guy. But Josh said he's excited to see more MarJon. Josh, I made a bold claim last week that I think MarJon's going to play 25-plus minutes a game this year.
He did. I could see it.
Taylor said, MarJon and AJ can be good backup guards to play a good chunk of minutes. That is another thing the Bucks did. They extended a qualifying offer to AJ Green. So he's probably going to be back on another two-way deal. Teams get 3 this year instead of 2. So I would expect probably AJ Green. Khris Khris Livingston and maybe Andre Jackson to be on those two ways, or one of the other guys that they've brought in for Summer League and guys that they signed after the draft. So with Malik Beasley, this is what I was thinking. I looked at his defensive rating because I know the Bucks need some perimeter defense. I didn't look at his height to compare him to Grayson height-wise.
He's 6'4".
6'4"? Okay, so
he's just like
Grayson. He's an inch or two taller.
Yeah.
So Grayson Allen's defensive rating per 100 possessions last year was 114. Malik Beasley's is 117. So Grayson is a tiny bit better defensively. So what happens defensively? What they do with Grayson, they weren't willing to include Marjan in Bradley Beal trade talks. So to me, that suggests that Adrian Griffin wants Marjan to play a lot of minutes, which is starting to create a little bit of a logjam at shooting guard when you consider Grayson Allen, Malik Beasley, Marjan Beauchamp, and Pat Connaughton.
I think I got a bold claim.
What is it?
You know who we're going after right now, right?
Colin Sexton.
Yes. I think Pat's in the deal.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be, but I think Pat and Grayson are in a deal. Which is why they didn't want to get rid of Marjan and exactly why they signed Malik Beasley.
If they do one more thing before doing a trade, Colin Sexton is a combo guard, Taylor, from Cleveland. Or sorry, Utah. He was on Cleveland. Yeah, he was part of the Donovan Mitchell trade.
Yep.
No, we're not trading for Dame.
Josh, you think we can afford that? We have to re-sign Giannis to $300 million, dude. And I'm not trying to pay Dame $56 million when he's 38. No thanks.
No.
Because you see the end of his contract?
He's going to be making like $63 million in his last year.
I know you're joking, but it is bogus, dude. It's literally like $56 million. It's ridiculous.
If the Bucks do something like say re-signing Wesley Matthews to a veteran minimum.
Okay.
If they do that, then I could see your Pat and Grayson combo. They don't want to include Bobby in a deal for Colin Sexton, so we can kind of put that out of our minds.
Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. If we can do Grayson and Pat for Sexton in a second.
I'm saying, bro.
It's a point where we've talked about basically since the championship season, the Bucks having so much depth that they got to consolidate some of it somehow. They got to start doing some 2-for-1s or 3-for-1s kind of deal and maybe getting some draft capital back in the process.
Yeah. Well, I think Horst is doing a really good job, actually. Nobody talking about it, so I'll be the first, I guess. But doing a really good job of trying to get talent for cheap while also staying competitive. Obviously, we both love the draft picks of Marjan and AJ last year. We both agree that AJ needs a little bit of work on defense, and Marjan needs a little bit more control on offense. He needs to slow down a little bit. Sometimes he got sped up last year, but you could see the talent there. You could see the reason for the draft pick. And we broke down Andre Jackson and Khris Livingston last week. So obviously we see the potential in these guys. So say 2 out of 4 hit, right? Say only 50%. You're still getting 2 really, really good players. And even if AJ doesn't get better on defense, he's going to be a shooter. I can promise you that. So now you're still getting a shooter and 2 good players around a guy like Giannis. If they get a Colin Sexton in that kind of deal, he's still young. He's called the young bull. The guy is intense, right? You get a young point guard that can usher in with a Giannis Antetokounmpo. So right there, you're staying competitive and getting younger at the same time, which was obviously something we were talking about last season. So I think he's doing great.
You hit the key word in your last sentence there, and the key word for me was younger.
I was getting there. I was working it. The
roster, the 3-year deal with Khris, the 2-year deal with Brook, and then getting in some of these younger guys that they're they're rebuilding while being competitive. 2 Summer League questions popped up. Well, not questions, a comment and a question. One saying, I'm kind of upset with Parker dipping on summer team. And do we think we keep Timmy after Summer League?
I don't think we keep Timmy after Summer League. Just my opinion. I don't think that he's an NBA player right now. I'm not going to lie to you. And I am a little – we talked about it last week, but we can't say we're upset because it's family matters. So it is what it is. We just wish him the best and hopefully nothing terrible is going on in his life.
Right, and that's the thing with Jabari is like we don't know what the family matter is. Like if he has a grandparent that has cancer or something like that.
Yeah, or
like
it could honestly be anything.
If his uncle has like a toothache, then obviously, yeah, that would be bummed. But
yeah, my Uncle Otis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Family first.
Yeah, we don't know what it is, so it's really hard to be like, okay, that's worth missing Summer League for, or that's not. And Taylor, on the subject of Drew Timme, keeping him after Summer League, I could see him ending up on the Herd.
Yeah,
so I'll throw that out there. Just as a G League signing, but not as an actual two-way contract. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, he's not an NBA guy yet.
I mean, I'm all for signing him to the Herd, and like I said, being G League Kevin Love, like I'm here for that.
Oh, 100%, man. Winning cures all. Winning helps everything. So the more people you can get down there to Oshkosh, which if you haven't been to a game, it's great for kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to see the talent up close, even if you're not a kid.
Mm-hmm.
To see how big and fast these guys are, how they handle the ball. I mean,
shooters.
You go to a G League pregame and you see them shooting, you're just like, Jesus, man, these guys aren't even in the league and they're making 15 shots.
Watching Joe Wieskamp shoot, it's like, damn, this dude's not in the league. Like, damn.
Right. So it's a good time and it's dirt cheap, man.
Yeah.
If you can afford a Herd ticket, go support the Herd and let's get that attendance up because they're putting a good squad together.
And they do a lot of good shows too. Like, they do different jerseys and stuff like that, which is cool to see.
Hey, Josh just hit the nail right on the head. But best $20 will get you in today's world. It's true. NBA talent up close. Me and Aiden missed seeing Giannis up close by this much. We went to the wrong game. Darn it.
The game that I went to, I got to talk to Josh Oppenheimer and I got to take a picture with AJ Green. So I got that going for me.
Yeah, that's sick. We were playing the 905 Raptors, and we were trying to decide which night to go to. And the first night was country night. And me and Aiden are kind of like, nah, we're not country guys. Yeah, we're like, nah. Of course, that was the one Giannis was at. Of course.
That's weird.
Yeah. It was the first of the two, so it makes sense.
Okay, so I know we kind of mentioned Colin Sexton already. Is there anything else that you can think of that the Bucks should do this offseason? Addressing backup point guard is really the biggest thing right now.
Yeah, that's really it. I feel like Giannis is going to have these boys ready. We've said it before that we think Giannis is one of the best leaders in all of sports, all 4 major leagues. And with the new coaching staff, and we're bringing some new players in, I think Giannis and Coach Griffin are going to have these boys ready to play. This is going to be an intense team, so if they were going to make a trade for an intense point guard like a Colin Sexton, it's now because he would fit in perfectly with Giannis.
Yeah, this I like the speed aspect of it too, and he's a guy you could potentially build with in the future. The other guys that you're looking at that are free agents, you're looking at like Frank Ntilikina, Ayo Dosunmu. I mean, you're looking at all the old guys, the Dragic, and I mean, Derrick Rose is already signed. I mean, you can look at, I don't know, I'm looking back at my notes. There was 2 other guys that I had in my head.
Taylor, I agree, man. It's an exciting time to be a Wisconsin sports fan. You would be definitely tricked if you read some Facebook comments, though. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Kendrick Nunn is another one.
Excuse me.
And then Aaron Holiday, Drew's brother. So we could go another brother.
I'm assuming that you're referring to Eric Gordon, and yes, he signed with the Suns.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's essentially what I'm looking at. I mean, yeah. Taylor, if you can't come this Saturday, you could come see us do our Badger football live and in person. We're doing that live as well. We can kind of transition with that then. That works. So we're going to transition from basketball to baseball, but Saturday, if you can, come to Plymouth. Come see us at Plymouth at Mill Street Day. It starts at 9 in the morning, goes till 4 in the afternoon. Jake and I will be there all day. Set up. We got fan locks to give away, fan locks to sell. We're going to have some questions to answer. stuff to give away. We got, if you want to buy some decals or keychains to support the show, Jake and I would appreciate that.
Nice.
It's going to be a good time too. There's just a lot of vendors there. It's just a really good time, actually. And Jake and I will be one of them. So
yeah, we planned some pretty cool stuff, man. You guys are going to definitely want to come. Took a lot of our personal time, but we love doing it and we want to share it with you guys. So that's why we keep inviting you. We want you guys to come out, have fun. Check out all the tents, man. Check out Whiskey Ball, sponsor of our show. Go talk to the wonderful ladies at Mental Health Lakeshore. Yeah, it's just gonna be a good day, and the weather is going to be a perfecto.
Yeah, it's gonna be like perfect.
Really nice.
But Taylor, if you can't see us on Saturday, August 25th at Isaac's Sports Bar in New Holstein, that is a Friday night. We are doing our Badgers football primer live and in person this year.
That's gonna be fun too. We get the outside bar in the back, so we're gonna be the main attraction that night. So if you have nothing else to do and you want to have a great time and party with three guys that know how to party, August 25th. Yeah, great food. They have beer because it's at a bar. So yeah, come on out after your long work week and party with us. Yeah,
it's gonna be good. Also, August 17th, we're planning a show with John Delray from Lombardi Time Brews. He's an Everyday Packers show. We're doing a live show. It sounds like we're going to be doing Stadium View in Green Bay near the practice facility. That's going to be August 17th. That's a Thursday. So we have 3 live and in-person appearances coming up in the next month and a half.
Yeah, so also with that day, I'm just going to add in real quick. It's one of the 2 days at the Packers live scrimmage, I should say. The 25th. He said that it's August 25th, Taylor. The day that Tyler's talking about is August 17th.
Yep.
It's one of the live practices against the Patriots. So we're going to go watch that. You come watch that with us first and then come join us for our live show. So we have a lot of fun stuff planned for that too. Been a lot of personal time put into this stuff lately. Yeah. So I'm really excited for it. I'm not saying that to complain about it. It's something that I love to do, obviously. So Tyler as well. I'm going to speak for him. I don't normally do that, but I'm super excited. I know Tyler is. I kind of just want to get over this episode, not really, so we can get to Saturday.
Right. Yeah. Yes, Taylor, that one's going to be in Green Bay. So we got three live appearances coming up this Saturday in Plymouth, August 17th in Green Bay. That's going to be right after practice, so it'll probably be early afternoon. And then August 25th, that is a Friday night. That'll be in New Holstein.
Yes, sir. Some good stuff, man.
All right, and yes, we will post schedules for those things so we can keep up with it and obviously remind people because we want people to come.
Agreed.
Okay, so do we want to get into Brewers new? Let's do the power pair and stuff first, and then the games, and then there was a handful of news today with the Brewers, a big chunk of roster moves. So let's start with our power pair and underrated performer for the Brewers for the last week. Jake, give me yours.
All right. So for my power hitter, I went with William Contreras. I feel like he was fantastic this week. 8 of 24. He scored 7 runs. He had a double, a home run, a big boy home run, by the way. 8 RBIs, 4 walks, only 2 strikeouts, and he stole 3 bases. He hit safely in 5 of 6 games this week. He was slashing .333 average, .370 on base percentage, a .500 slugging percentage, and an .870 OPS. So tremendous stuff from the guy that we traded for this offseason, the big acquisition for the Brewers. For my power pitcher, I went with Colin Ray. We will dive more. We'll dive deeply into his start. I'm not going to ruin anything. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about him. He had 6 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, and 3 K. I mean, what else can we ask from this guy?
That's a great pick.
Yeah. And for my underrated performer, I wanted to give credit to somebody that I don't think we brought up too much, but I think he had a really good, really productive week. Tapia. I mean, Rafael Tapia. He was tremendous this week. 4 of 11. He scored 7 runs. He had 1 home run, 1 RBI, and he walked 4 times. So he was on in 11 at bats. He was on base 8 times. That's tremendous. He had a 364 batting average, a 563 on base percentage, a 636 slugging percentage, and a 1.199 OPS. That's the second highest this week on the Brewers. So Tremendous stuff from all of these guys. The Brewers are playing good baseball this week, people. But again, you wouldn't know that by reading Facebook comments.
And I like your picks. Those are good picks. And yeah, Facebook comments are the worst place to get information from. I'll just say that. Unless they're ours, because I think we've done a pretty good job of cultivating a good following of level-headed fans.
And we try to be informative, and like, it's just ridiculous, dude. I'll get into it later. I have something to say later, but it's ridiculous.
And I can throw this out there too, and we can discuss it after the games that it applies to. But we've also debuted now with yesterday's game our positive takeaways graphic.
Yeah.
So we put, we've been doing win graphics for teams, but we decided we didn't want people to feel like we're just ignoring losses.
Mm-hmm.
But we wanted to also post what we are thinking after the losses to show that there are other takeaways than just getting angry that the team lost. Especially a game like yesterday where they lost in extra innings and a frustrating one, so which we'll get to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So for my power pair, I went with Christian Yelich. He could have been my power position player 4 weeks in a row. I let you have him last week because I didn't want to do him 3 weeks in a row because it felt like a little bit of overkill. But I'm back on
restart the streak
again this week. In 6 games, Yelich was 11 for 26. That's a 423 batting average.
Oh my God.
Absurd.
Yeah.
And the dude's he's just raking. Like, he's constantly hitting the ball hard. Like, even his outs, he's not making a lot of soft contact.
Mm-hmm.
His hard hit percentage over the last week, 29.2%, and his medium contact, 50%.
Dude, he is killing. He's
smoking the ball lately.
My gosh.
So this is really exciting stuff. So Christian Yelich also had 8 RBI last week. Only 4 strikeouts in 30 plate appearances.
God damn. That's
6.7% strikeout percentage.
That's pretty damn good.
That's insanely low.
Yeah.
And then a 500 on base percentage. He had 4 walks to go with his 11 hits.
Jesus.
His weighted runs created plus last week, which 100 is par, 221.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Whew. Pretty good.
Dude,
that guy should have been an all-star in my opinion.
He really should be an all-star.
Hitting over 280 now.
Yeah. And
Take that, haters.
If you look at his stats, they're eerily similar to what they were in 2018.
Yeah,
he's on almost the exact same pace.
I think he leads the team in every statistical category except home runs.
That sounds right.
I'm pretty sure.
He is one of 5 players in all of Major League Baseball to be 10 home runs and Christian Yelich is one of 5 players to have 10 home runs and 20 stolen bases.
Yeah, the 20 stolen bases is massive, dude. With the average.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's been very good.
Okay, so my power pitcher, I went with Corbin Burns. He rebounded very well from a couple of short starts, 5 and a 5 2/3 starts, to pitch 7 innings, only give up 1 hit, 2 walks, 2 earned runs, and 7 strikeouts. That felt much more like a Corbin Burns appearance.
Yeah, it was fun to watch.
It was very fun to watch. Dude, wait till I tell you about his strikeouts.
Oh, yes. Cannot wait.
Which we'll get there. For my underrated performer, Taylor said it's got to get a haircut. For my underrated performer, I went with Willy Adames. His average was just 233 over the last week, but he is on a 5-game hitting streak. So last week he had a 280 batting average on balls in play. On the season, it's 244, so that suggests to me that Willy Adames is a little bit unlucky and facing some good defense.
Yeah.
So I do like Willy Adames over the last week. 17.1 strikeout percentage for Willy Adames. His season percentage is 27. So he's striking out less over the last week, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm. And
then his hard hit percentage is down a little bit for his season average. He hit the ball hard, 28% of at bats last week. His season average is 33.2. But his medium contact percentage is 56. So he's still overall not hitting a lot of soft contact.
No, I don't think
I do think, and we talked about this before the show, and I agree with you, that it feels like Willy Adames is starting to turn a corner.
Yeah, I think so too, man. We both agreed that he just looks more balanced.
Yeah. And then the only thing that I really have to say with Willy Adames is his fly ball percentage is still 44%. So he's just got to get the ball down a little bit.
He's getting closer though, dude. And we like you said, we were talking about it. His leg, the timing of the leg and the bat is just getting so close. He's gonna start cranking some homers second half, dude.
I agree with you. And just getting some line drives is what I really want to see from him.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, so we have 2 Mets games from last week to talk about. Let's start with last Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And third game from the Mets series. What stood out to you from that
one? Well, Wade Miley is on. He's a little bit more. He's more well known than Colin Ray, but again, he's in that same line of respect. Where what more can we ask from this guy? This guy's giving us quality starts, and he's eating innings. This one he didn't eat a ton of innings, only 4, but also only three hits. He had the 3 walks and the 2 earned runs. If he would have not had the walks, he probably would have had a longer start, in my opinion. The 3 Ks. Bryce Wilson, he was actually pretty good this week, to be honest with you, I think.
True.
He was better than he's been, and nobody mentioned that. He didn't even come up in my mind until I just read his name right now. Not even going to lie to you. Hobie Milner, I love the role. I wanted to say this. I love the role that Craig Counsell's put him in now. He's literally just a specialist against lefties, and he's dominating in it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he can't face righties every once in a while, but he is dominating lefties right now.
His slider against lefties has to just be so defeating.
Like, you go from that, and then you got Peguero, Payamps, and Williams after that. Like, what are you doing with that? You're not – ask the Mets. What are you doing with that?
Hacking.
You're going to get 2 hits in 3 innings. That's what you get. Congratulations. I love Peguero, dude. He's become one of my favorite players. Well, first and foremost, his name is Elvis, dude. Like, come on.
That's why we had to post the Elvis graphic. Had to be done.
Sick name. And then Payamps, that's your boy. Devin Williams. This was his 26th. I knew I was going to struggle. I tried to practice today at work. Scoreless appearance this season. So that's pretty damn good. 2 strikeouts for him. Yelly and Winker both had 2 RBIs with 2 outs. So 4 of our 5 runs were with 2 outs. And Blake Perkins, another guy that we talked about. We were talking all day today.
Mm-hmm.
Blake Perkins is another guy who's been putting some really freaking good at-bats together.
He was almost my underrated performer.
So close, dude. He's doing better than what his numbers say, in my opinion. He's doing a better job than his numbers say. He provides speed. He's giving us good at-bats from both sides of the plate. He's playing solid defense. So really no complaints about Blake Perkins. His job is safe in my eyes. I
agree. Honestly, I think the guy whose job's really in jeopardy is Tyrone Taylor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's injured right now, but I don't think they're in any rush to bring him back.
Yeah.
So
I would be more rushed to bring this guy up than I would be bringing him back. That's all I'm going to say about that.
September call-ups. I mean, he's got to be first on the list.
Freaking please. God.
Okay, so Game 3, Christian Yelich is on to lead the game off. A double that was 113 miles an hour off the bat. That was his 4th straight game that he batted leadoff that he reached base to start the game.
Holy shit. Nice stat. Like it.
There was 1 game where he batted second, so I had to go back 5 games. But 4 out of the 5 games, he was leading off, and he was on base to lead off the game in all 4 of those games.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Willy Adames did a good job to work a walk, and then Jesse Winker with a 2-out double to the opposite field put the Brewers up 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom of the 1st, Wade Miley absolutely locked in. His timing was messing up hitters, and he was locating the ball well.
Yeah,
you could tell Mets hitters were not even just frustrated, but you could tell they were just straight up pissed. Because Wade Miley was changing up the timing on him, and that was working to his advantage. Bottom of the 2nd, Tommy Pham did catch up to an inside fastball, put it out just inside the left field foul pole, made it 2-1. Top of the 3rd, William Contreras led off with an opposite field single. Jesse Winker again, another 2-out single. He was 2 for 2 to start this game. A walk by Owen Miller, and then the bases loaded, stranded. But Kodai Senga was at 70 pitches in 3 innings. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wade Miley got through 3 innings on 46 pitches. And in part to Willy Adames, who was everywhere defensively.
Yeah.
Top of the 4th inning, Christian Yelich got his second hit. Bottom of the 4th inning, Wade Miley got a little shaky, and this is my opinion is part of why he got pulled was just because he was losing the command a little bit. So Wade Miley in the 4th inning went walk, single, walk, and that tied the game at 2 with 0 outs still. Mm-hmm. Wade Miley did come back, struck out Brett Beatty looking, and then gets a double play to end the inning.
Yeah, the strikeout, by the way, disgusting.
Dotted.
Yeah.
Couldn't paint it on any better.
No, you couldn't. And that guy knew it too.
Yeah. To go from 4 straight guys reaching bases loaded, tie game, 0 outs, to strikeout, double play, that takes nuts.
And there was a post a couple weeks ago, actually a couple days ago, somebody posted the July schedule, right? And she was like, I'm worried about the July schedule. And the only thing I commented was, I'm not worried. This team has guts. This team literally has guts. I'm not worried about them one bit. I don't care who they face. They're going to compete.
I like it. So top of the 5th, the Brewers had a chance to snag back the momentum, and they go 1-2-3. After having that strikeout, that double play, it felt like a chance where the Brewers could really just grab control of the game and just take the wind out of the sails of the Mets. They went 1-2-3. It happens. It is what it is. Bottom of the 5th, Bryce Wilson is in, like you mentioned. Top of the 6th, the Brewers get to the Mets bullpen. This is where we talked about this last week with the first 2 games of the series. No game is over if the Mets lead and you are getting to their bullpen.
The hilarious thing about that is you texted me, I believe it was like a half an hour before, and you're like, God, the Mets bullpen is so trash. Literally, as you're saying that, right, it made me think of my dad. Texted me almost a half an hour, like on the dot. He said, God, the Mets bullpen is trash. And like you guys sent the same text message, and I was like, are they fucking right next to each other or what?
So, top of the 6th, Kodai Senga is out of the game. Owen Miller leads off with a double. Brian Anderson had a line out. Blake Perkins then hit that single you mentioned, gave the Brewers a 3-2 lead.
Hey, Brett.
Hey, it's Brett. Brett watched like the whole show on Friday night, so I appreciate it.
Hell yeah, Brett Double T. Let's go.
Double T. Nice. I like it. So that gave the Brewers the 3-2 lead. Bottom of the 6th, Bryson Wilson went out, single out, and then Hobie Milner came in to strike out Beatty, this time swinging. So Brett Beatty's probably a little frustrated, just getting kind of owned by the Brewers pitching. Brett said he hates those single T Bretts.
They suck.
One of our best friends has got a single T, Brett.
I know. I wanted to say he sucked just in case he watches this.
Bottom of the 7th, Peguero came in, gave up a leadoff single, then went 1-2-3 to follow. Top of the 8th, Brian Anderson had a 2-out double. Blake Perkins drew a walk. Joey Weimer got hit on the hand. Now, this is where a lot of people were questioning if Tim's back too. We got all the OGs in here.
Timmy
get Bill in here too. So this is where I saw a lot of people questioning if Joey Weimer was swinging at the pitch that hit his hand. And I think what ended up being the ultimate thing was that Joey Weimer was checking his swing. Then when the ball hit his hand, it took the bat out of his hand and the bat continued.
Yeah.
So if the bat was still in his hands, he would not have swung. But the ball knocked the bat out of his hand. So I think that's where they decided that it wasn't a swing.
I'll say this. Joey Weimer had a better fate than 7th grade Jake. Because I had almost the exact same thing happen. And I remember I had blue Under Armour gloves and I was swinging. And as I was trying to stop, because the ball hit me right here on the wrist, I tried to stop and I let go of the bat and I said, shit. And I'm 7th grade, so I probably shouldn't do that. But I said, shit. And I went, bah, I said, shit. And my hand was like, my hand and wrist was just inflamed. And they called me for a strikeout. I was like, wow, just kick a guy while he's down, like literally.
Christian Yelich followed it up with a 2 RBI single that made it 5-2. That's 4 guys in a row getting it done with 2 outs.
Love to see it.
That's seriously, if the Brewers, honestly, you can take everything that I've talked about the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I talked about the team, what they can do. And last week, I went through it individually. You can take all of that, crumple it up, and throw it out the window if you can just get guys on base and continue getting to the next guy in the order with 2 outs.
Yep.
You can literally just throw everything else out the window if you just keep going with 2 outs. Tim said he would have called you out too.
You deserve this.
But seriously, though, I mean, getting it done with 2 outs, it trumps essentially everything else.
Yeah, I agree.
Bottom of the 8th, Payamps is in, gets the first 2 out, gives up a single, gets the 3rd out on a strikeout looking, just another painted pitch. And the thing is he was down 3-0 to the 3rd batter. 3 really bad misses. Came back, painted a 96-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside corner.
Yeesh.
Nuts, guts, whatever you want to say, the Brewers got some.
They got
Joel Payamps has them. And we got a stress-free, thankfully. Bottom of the 9th inning, Devin Williams went 1-2-3, only took 13 pitches to get it done.
Yeah, man, he was on a pretty good streak until recently when he was making us stressed out.
Yeah.
And Bill Schroeder actually called that out. They were talking about how good he is, and Bill Schroeder was like, not all of his saves are clean. He makes us sweat him out. And I'm like, yeah, he does, dude. You ain't lying.
He does. Brett, yeah, we'll get to David Ross from yesterday's game, but I want to call out that 4 of the Brewers' 5 runs were scored with 2 outs.
Yes. Tyler and I have different opinions about last night, so stay tuned for that as well.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay. Finale against the Mets. So the Brewers, with winning Game 3, they guaranteed at least a series split. The New York Mets did not win a single series the entire month of June.
Love it, baby. Love it, baby.
And thanks to the Brewers, they didn't get a split in this series either.
Gotta love it. You want me to go?
Yep. Game 4. Get it on.
If you would have told me that Adrian Hauser was going to outpitch Max Scherzer in New York, I would have called you a fucking moron. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'd have been like, are you stupid, dude? That's Max Scherzer, dude.
You're like, not likely.
But he absolutely did, in my opinion. Adrian Hauser, I mean, the 7 hits, and we've talked about this with Adrian Hauser before. He's a contact guy, like a Julio Teheran, right?
Yep.
And I have some opinions on him too when we talk about his start. But 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, the 1 walk, only 2 earned runs, and 5 Ks. I mean, come on,
beautiful,
tremendous stuff.
Beautiful.
I'd say drug test. Hobie Milner again used as a specialist, absolutely dominating in that role. Peguero gave 2/3 of an inning, no hits, no walks, no earned runs, no Ks. He got it done, right? Payamps, the swag, dude. I can't get over Payamps' swag. The dude literally walks with so much swag, he gives me swag through the TV. It's ridiculous. And Devin Williams had his 27th straight scoreless inning. I didn't struggle with the 27 like the 26. But the play of the game was Victor Carantini saying, suck my Carantini, and it was fucking tremendous, dude. It was tremendous. He launched that son of a bitch, and he just looked at it. And I was like, stare at that.
That was awesome.
Stare at it, Victor.
You know he did.
You earned that one, Victor. Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Okay. So both teams went 1-2-3 in the first inning. Christian Yelich on base, leadoff streak, done at 4. Top of the first inning, Brewers got a pair of 1-out singles by Brian Anderson and Victor Caratini. We're both stranded.
Mm-hmm.
Top of the third, 2 more 1-out walks. Christian Yelich and Jesse Winker are both stranded. Bottom of the third, that's where the Mets got their back-to-back solo home runs.
Yeah.
Brett said Hauser and Miley have been sleepers in our mid-rotation while Woodruff is out, and they're super helpful for it.
Yeah. Imagine what they're going to be like when we get a Woodruff back. And if we can get a consistent Freddie Peralta.
Yeah.
We get a consistent Corbin Burns, and we hit with 2 outs. The NL, besides the Braves, I've said this before, besides the Braves, the Brewers can compete with any of these teams.
Yep, I agree.
The Dodgers aren't crazy this year. the Diamondbacks, we competed with the Diamondbacks now.
Yep.
The Diamondbacks are just young. In a few years, they're going to be nuts. But literally outside of the Braves, who are literally on fire right now, where they have 10 straight wins again?
Something like that. They were 21-4 in June.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
They're stupid. They're like 30 games over 500. That team is loaded. They have 8 All-Stars.
Yeah.
So obviously outside of them, the NL is wide open. The Brewers can 100% end up in the NLCS.
Yeah,
and I'm not even
to the show. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding, dude.
Okay, so back-to-back solo home runs. The first one was a changeup on the outer third. To me, Adrian Hauser just needs to locate that one a little bit lower or a little bit more outside. Mm-hmm. I'm not super worried about it. Essentially the same thing with the one that Nimmo hit out. He just threw a sinker, another one that was on the outer third, just a little bit too high in the middle third of the plate. Either get it a little bit down or a little bit outside, and that's going to be like a long fly out instead of a home run.
Nimmo's got a lot of power, so I
he does have a lot of power, and he succeeds well against the Brewers. Brett said so many people counted Yelich out, but I kept telling people, be patient. Baseball's a marathon. Also, one year he broke his kneecap, which I thought last year was bothering him. On the subject of Yelich, last year seemed like his back was bothering him more than his knee. But the year before, the 2021 season, I do agree that was the season that his knee was potentially bothering him a lot. And he didn't really have a normal offseason at all in between the knee injury and this season. But yes, I mean, if I had $1 for every time I tried to say that baseball is the most zoomed out regular season, I'd probably have season tickets.
You'd have a lot of money right now.
Dude, I'd have so much cash.
Man.
I wouldn't need this desk chair right now. I could just be sitting on a stack of cash for how many times I've been trying to tell people that baseball is the most zoomed out regular season.
Money chair, baby.
Dude, someday when they start paying me for when I say things like, if I had $1 for this. Okay. So top of the fourth inning, Bryce Durang had a nice double to the right center gap on an inside fastball, was stranded. Oh, well. Yeah, so many quote-unquote fans saying we need to get rid of Yelich. Yeah, God forbid people be patient about stuff. Bottom of the fourth inning, Hauser gave up a leadoff single, then went 1-2-3. Top of the fifth, Jesse Winker extended his hitting streak to 3 games. Don't look now. Top of the sixth inning, Rowdy Tellez led off with a leadoff single off the second baseman's glove, and then Victor Caratini, the first pitch that he sees, a four-seam fastball, basically in the same spot that the back-to-back home runs were hit off of Hauser, he hits a 2-run home run to tie the game.
Oh, just
104 miles an hour off the bat.
He smoked it, dude. You could tell it was going right away.
Oh, man. Yeah, he did. It was perfect. He knew it.
He had the right angle on it.
You mentioned Hauser's appearance through 6 innings. Only took him 89 pitches to get through those 6 innings. So if we're in a crunch, maybe Hauser goes out for another inning, but his previous 2 appearances came out of the bullpen. So maybe just not wanting to push him and relying on other guys. Top of the 7th, William Contreras hit a pinch hit infield single. Willie Adames got hit by a pitch. Owen Miller came in to pinch hit. He had an infield single. Brian Anderson hit a sac fly. He missed, 5 or 6 feet away from being a grand slam. I don't think it was like a just missed, or he barely missed a grand slam. But he was a few feet short, but he did his job, got a sac fly that got the Brewers 3-2 lead. Brett said, I think if Jesse can stay healthy, he can be solid. It's shown with these riffs. I'm not opposed to it.
I think Winker's turning a corner too. After his home run, they were talking about his swing as well, and he's getting a little bit more unbalanced too. And the guy that I'm only worried about is Rowdy Tellez now. He's the last one to worry about because he's
Spoiler alert, I'm going to ask you about that.
Dude, he needs a fucking all-star break.
Just hold on. We'll get there. We got to get through the rest of these games, and then we'll get to Rowdy.
Okay.
Yeah, so Brian Anderson got the Brewers the lead. Holby Milner in for the bottom of the 7th. He got the first out after a leadoff single. A rare error by Brian Anderson and a hit by pitch brings in Elvis Peguero, who comes in, gets Starling Marte to ground out to Bryce Durang for an easy double play. Just huge. Brett meant Reds, not refs. I was wondering what he meant with refs.
Yeah,
he said Reds. Huge for Elvis Peguero to come in and get a double play ground out with the bases loaded, and the Brewers up by 1. Bottom of the 8th, you already mentioned Payamps. He went 1, 2, 3. Bottom of the 9th, stressful but successful. That's what I'm going to start calling these appearances. Stressful but successful. Devin Williams appearance gets a flyout and then goes walk, single, ground out, walk, and strikes out Starling Marte with the bases loaded on 3 pitches. All of them changeups. 2 of the 3 outside of the strike zone.
Yeah, dude. The last one that he threw was probably the best one he threw the whole game, and what a time to throw it, dude. Seriously, that was gross.
Like I said, it seems like 1 out of every 5 appearances he's going to load the bases just to get some drama going and then just shut the door.
So on this subject real quick, because New York fans were going nuts on Starling Marte, and we're trying to develop a better mindset with our fans here in Wisconsin, right?
Yep.
And this is one of those moments. That's one of those pitches where you kind of tip your cap because you're like, not many guys are hitting that, right? You got to be a really good hitter to hit that changeup in that moment, and how good of a changeup he threw. Like, you got to be like a Mike Trout or a Shohei, or you got to be one of those top guys to be able to get a hold of that one.
Yep.
And at that moment, like, if those guys are up to bat, like we talked about when Mike Trout when we played Mike Trout and he hit home runs, we're like, it's Mike Trout, dude.
Yep.
So I feel like that's one of those moments where the New York fans could learn from us. Honestly, they could probably learn more than just this, but
I agree with you.
Just tip your cap, right? Like, tip your cap. That was a great pitch at that time. He's an
nothing,
all-star for a reason.
Right. There's nothing wrong with respecting your opponents when they play better. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I will respect you more if you give respect to your opponents than I would if you cling to trash talk just for the sake of clinging to trash talk.
Yeah, it's like when last year, and I always bring it to Packer season because, good God, football fans go nuts. And then because football is so big, they treat baseball this way, right? Because they only play 1 game a week in football. So they kind of have that same mindset with baseball, which is why they freak out after 1 loss. And last year when we played the Commanders and, Terry McLaurin made a crazy catch over Jair Alexander.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, Jair's trash. It's like, no, dude. Terry McLaurin is just really good, and he made a really good catch.
What do I say?
I mean, you say a lot of things. Which one are you pointing out now?
When you're talking about offense and defense.
Oh, yeah, great offense beats good defense every time.
Every time.
It does. And, that was a moment where on our show, we gave credit to Terry McLaurin because Terry McLaurin is one of the best wide receivers in this game. He's always a sleeper because he doesn't have a quarterback. And he made a great play on Jair.
For the inconsistency that he's dealt with.
Yeah. I would love, imagine him in Green Bay with Rodgers the last couple of years. He would have been nuts with us, right? But, it is what it is. But they could learn to give credit to Devin Williams for that pitch. The whole point I'm trying to say.
And that's, like I said, I give respect to people who have the ability to give that respect.
I'm reading Brett's comment here. Brian Anderson, I am happy he's back from paternity list. Me fucking too, because I have some things about that. He's been a sleeper bat, and Tellez going to the 10-day DL. With his slump, maybe this will help him because his bat lately, he should be in AAA.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Okay. I have some opinions on it.
We're going to get there.
I have some opinions on Rowdy.
We got 5 games. 5 games to talk about. We got the Pirates series, then we got the first 2 against the Cubs.
Yeah, so, let's get this shitty one over with.
Yeah, just say what you want to say about the first one. I really don't even care because I have – people are going to call it excuses if they want to, but you got to learn how baseball works.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 individuals had RBIs. 2 individuals had 2-out RBIs, Miller and Terang. Peralta, gutty. For him to go out there after having, what was it, a 34, 35 pitch inning, for him to go back out there and give us another inning of work was absolutely phenomenal. Nothing but respect for Freddie Peralta. Excuse me. Pannone, it is what it is. These guys are new. They were getting their first experience. And Bush, all I'm going to say about that is, he hasn't been great since we acquired him. At the end of the day, these are still human beings. So I'm not going to be like, you're trash. You suck. I hate you. Like, do you think the guy wants to give up a walk-off home run? No.
Right.
Clearly, he wants to strike the guy out or make him ground out or make him fly out. Like, he doesn't have it. The Brewers noticed that right away. And even after the 2 nuts ballsy wins in a row versus the Mets, people still resorted to this team sucks after 1 freaking loss.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
I'm going to let you say what you got to say now.
Okay, so I'm going to address Brett real quick. He said, like all these fans after 1 year, if Love is average, people will say drop him after 1 year, not knowing Rogers was 6-10 his first year. And that's the thing. We would really love to get a lot of people watching our show, especially the one that we're going to do next Friday, because we're going to talk about how we're going to keep track of Jordan Love's development over the season.
Yep.
It's going to go way beyond wins and losses. Way beyond wins and losses.
Mm-hmm.
Which shouldn't be a track stat for quarterbacks anyways. That's a different discussion, though.
Slide it in there.
first game of the Pirates. Both teams went 1-2-3 in the first. Both teams had 1 runner, no runs in the second. Third inning, Weimer got hit by a pitch again. And Raimel Tapia bunted for a single. The third baseman was playing near the shortstop hole, and the pitcher was leaning towards the right side. That's one of those rare, occurrences of where a guy bunts for a single, and it makes sense. Yeah. So I'll leave that. Following that, Christian Yelich hit a double over the right fielder, 105.5 mile an hour off the bat. William Contreras hit a short grounder. The Pittsburgh third baseman tried to go home. Tapia scored. Brewers were up 2-0. Then Rowdy Tellez got a single to right center and made the game 3-0. William Contreras went to third on it. Willie Adames followed that up with a sac fly, put the Brewers up 4-0. Bottom of the fourth, McCutchen led off with a home run. And then Peralta went walk, strikeout, walk, and then gave up a 2-run double, made the game 4-3. Both hits were in the middle, bottom third of the zone. Freddie Peralta's just got to locate those pitches just a little bit better, either just a little bit lower or, like I said, like a little bit farther outside with some of the ones that Hauser had. Mm-hmm. Bottom of the fifth, Owen Miller made a really nice diving stop in the third base shortstop hole to take a hit away from McCutchen. Top of this game gets to top of the seventh inning. Christian Yelich leads off the single. William Contreras gets hit by a pitch. Brian Anderson pops out. Willie Adames strikes out. And then Owen Miller, he doubles at the most opportune times.
Yeah, he does.
Hits a double, rips it over the third baseman, makes the game 5-3. Bryce Durang follows with another double to the right field corner, makes the game 7-3. And then you mentioned Pannone gave up a leadoff single, got 2 outs, and then went walk single, made the game 7-4, and then got a strikeout to end that inning. Bottom of the eighth, Pannone still out, went leadoff single, and then a double made it to 7-5, and then got out of it with no more. And then bottom of the ninth is where we get to Matt Bush. Now, I've stated previously, this was during the last Pirates series, that Carlos Santana was an underrated pickup by the Pirates. Very underrated signing in free agency. Mm-hmm. So Matt Bush went single, ground out, double, made it 7-6, got another ground out, and then Santana on a 2-strike count. Just a first pitch. Fastball up, just Matt Bush missing. And it sucks because I believe that Matt Bush has really electric stuff. He's got a high heat fastball, and he's got a really electric curveball. Mm-hmm. But his velocity went down about a couple miles an hour when he came back from the injured list, and he just didn't have it. Yeah. So the thing is people being like, why don't you use Devin Williams there? Why don't you use Joel Payamps there? Why don't you use Elvis Peguero there? Why don't you use Hobie Milner there? And this is why. The Brewers are in the middle of 17 games in 17 days.
Yeah.
Because I saw people make the same whiny remarks about Christian Yelich getting a day off the day after he hit his home run. Mm-hmm. Christian Yelich hits a home run and he gets benched? No. He's got a scheduled off day because the Brewers are playing 17 days straight. Nobody in the roster is playing all 17 of those games. Literally none of them.
Yeah.
Coming into the first game of the Pirates series, Joel Payamps had pitched 3 of the last 5 days. Devin Williams had pitched 4 of the last 5 days. And Hobie Milner and Elvis Peguero had both pitched 5 of the last 6 days. None of them were pitching in this game.
Yeah.
Craig Counsell didn't want to use Bryce Wilson in this game either. So it came back to hurt a little bit that the Brewers weren't able to go as deep in the Mets series. Where the Wade Miley, the 4-inning start, it does kind of hurt a little bit. And it's why we're seeing this revolving door in the bullpen with guys going up and down and some guys being DFA'd and then re-signed to AAA, going back and forth. It's going to be a revolving door during this 17-game stretch. So that's what I thought with Matt Bush. Christian Yelich was still 2 for 5. Owen Miller was 3 for 5. Not a horrible game, just an unfortunate ending, really.
Brewers scored 7 runs, man. That was a great sign.
I got a little stat for you when we get to yesterday's game. So, second game of the Pirates series, what stood out to you from that one? Because after the first game, I'm like, all right, just regroup, win the series. That's what I wanted.
Well, we talk about timing a lot. In baseball, it's definitely a big thing. And Corbin Burns' timing for this game to throw this gem was phenomenal. Well, he was perfect for a while.
He was
6 innings, 5 innings,
5.
6 innings, 5 innings. The 6th inning is when they got him. Yeah.
Yep. He gave up a walk in the first batter of the 6th inning.
Yeah. But he was really good. Obviously, Tyler went over his stats. 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 walks, 2 earned runs, and 7 Ks. And he was commanding everything, and he was throwing strikes, and he was phenomenal. They brought Andrews back in, and this was his first appearance. My apologies. They brought him in, and he was having a little bit of a rough outing because we were up 10-0, and they were like, all right, let's bring the guy in and let's do this and
have him eat some innings.
He was rough, and this goes back to the bullpen, working a lot. So Corbin Burns going 7 innings was like honestly a match made in heaven. Where okay, I understand the buttons he was trying to push, and he probably didn't want to use Bryce Wilson in this opportunity either. But his hand was forced. But Andrews had a rough outing, but you know what? Learning experience. Throw him into the fire, let him figure it out, right? And the Pirates aren't the Pirates that we known a couple of years ago. They got some hitters over there.
Yeah.
And they're still injured, and they got some hitters. So when they're fully healthy, that's a pretty damn good offense, man. Even freaking who am I thinking of? Freaking 22 McCutchen. McCutchen's batting the hell out of the ball this year. He's almost hitting 300, man. He's hitting 284 or something like that now, right?
Yeah.
Or 287.
There's teams interested in trading for him to be their DH.
Yeah, he's hitting the ball good. I'd bring him back as a DH. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah,
gets on base,
to it.
Hits the ball hard. Why not? Bryce Wilson, though, he did come in and give up. Even though Andrews was responsible for the runs, he did give up a couple of the runs. Mm-hmm. But he eventually got out of the inning, and it was kind of like a, that's what it felt like.
Right.
But like you said, Yelly had a home run in this game. Tapia had a home run in this game, a 2-out home run. Winker with 3 RBIs, Carantini with an RBI, Tellez with 2 RBIs, and Perkins with an RBI. I mean, the list of players that were producing this week is fucking ridiculous. It's great to see. Don't get me wrong, but it's ridiculous. Joel Payamps was also really good in this one. Little quick stat before you get into your breakdown here. We had a 5-run 2nd inning, a 4-run 6th inning. They had a 7-3 road trip, right?
Yep.
We also had a 7-3 road trip in April. Yep. Making this the 7th time the Brewers have won at least 7 games on a 10-game road trip in franchise history. Like that one? Did you have that one too?
I see all the stats. I am the all-seeing eye when it comes to cool stats.
I know, it's ridiculous. Sometimes I think you have 3 sets of eyes. It's ridiculous.
I just have a really active Twitter account.
It's nuts.
Okay, so Christian Yelich back to his getting on base to lead off games, led off with a walk. Willie Adames pulled a single, and Christian Yelich was aggressive to get over to third base. Rowdy Tellez hit a sac fly, made the game 1-0. Top of the 2nd inning, Brian Anderson led off with a single. Bryce Durang followed with an opposite field single, and Brian Anderson aggressive to third base. And then Blake Perkins with a fielder's choice made the game 2-0. Brett said, I'm liking this year. Brewers finally playing good on the road, which is usually the opposite. Yeah, that's helpful to win on the road.
Brett, I don't think you were here, but I I told Tyler before, this team has guts, and he agreed. Guts, nuts, we have it all.
Guts and nuts. Yeah. Put on a t-shirt.
Slap it on there. Whoosh.
Nuts and guts.
That could be such a dirty shirt. But anyways.
Great hustle by Blake Perkins to not get in the double play. Followed by a wild pitch. Blake Perkins got to second. Tapia drew a walk. And then Christian Yelich launched one into the river, 109 miles an hour off the bat.
Let's go.
Christian Yelich just smoking the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Made the game 5-0. Winker followed with a walk, and then Willie Adames pulled another hit, a double to the corner. Brewers had second and third. Rowdy Tellez hit a hot grounder. Winker scored. That made the game 6-0. To be the Pirates in this situation where the Brewers had a long top of the second, they went 1-2-3 in the bottom. Super quick inning right after the Brewers just sent like 8 guys to the plate and scored 4 runs.
5.
5? Was it 5?
The second inning? Second inning was 5.
Yep, you're right. It was 5. Yep, you're right. 5 runs. And then to go 1-2-3 in the bottom of that inning, that's a win out of the sales thing. So I do credit the Pirates for coming back a little bit in this one. Top of the third, Blake Perkins had a 2-out ground rule double. Corbin Burns got through 3 innings on 33 pitches, through 4 innings on 44 pitches, through 5 innings on 57 pitches. Like you mentioned, that's where he took the perfect game through. Top of the fifth, Brian Anderson got his second hit, was stranded. Bottom of the fifth, Brian Anderson, nice reach to snag a line drive. His defense is so helpful. At third base. Gold glove level defense from Brian Anderson at third base.
I agree. We will answer your question in a second.
Yes, yeah, yep, I promise. We'll get to it. Top of the sixth, Blake Perkins got his second hit, ran a hit and run with Tapia batting. He hit a single, so the Brewers got first and third with no out. Christian Yelich drew a walk, and then Jesse Winker, first pitch, hits a bases clearing double. Seeing Jesse Winker get that hit, it felt, dude, like I can't even imagine how it felt for him to like just get that more weight off the back. Extended his hitting streak to 4 games. Made the game 9-0. Honestly, my favorite part of that at bat when Jesse Winker ripped that double is watching Christian Yelich run the bases.
Yeah.
Dude,
and he's so good at running the bases. Dude.
He was like 4 steps after Raimel Tapia crossing home plate. Absolutely nuts for Yelich to be flying around the bases like that. I wish it was Garrett Mitchell standing at second base and Tapia at third, but I mean, Blake Perkins has filled in nicely. Victor Caratini followed it up with a 2-out single, made the game 10-0. Burns through 5 did have 6 strikeouts. You ready for this, Christian Yelich? This Corbin Burns strikeout stat?
Yes.
6 strikeouts through 5 innings. All 6 of them came on off-speed pitches.
Oh, wow, really?
None of them came out of his cutter.
Wow, that's actually crazy. Although I will say that he throws his changeup faster than some people throw a fastball. Which is stupid.
Burns lost the perfect game and the no-hitter and the shutout in the bottom of the 6th inning. Tapia in the 7th hit a solo home run, made it 11-2. Bottom of 7th, Burns got a 1-2-3 inning. Bottom of the 8th is where it got testy, like you said. Bottom of the 8th, the Pirates had 6 hits, a walk, and 6 runs. And then after that had 4 more hits, another walk, and 4 more runs. It is what it is. I mean, the Pirates weren't going away. You mentioned, the guy making his first appearance.
Yep.
It was good to see after the rain delay. Piamps came in for his second save opportunity. He goes 1-2-3. Ended the game with a strikeout of McCutchen, who he fell behind 3-0. Came back and struck him out. Willie Adames, Brian Anderson, Blake Perkins, Raimel Tapia all had 2 hits. And then the biggest thing with me for the second game of the Pirates series, the Brewers drew 5 walks, only 4 strikeouts.
Yes. They were being aggressive.
Oh, that's so good.
They were making good contact and aggressive. That was a great combo.
And here's the thing. I'm gonna preface this now because it's gonna come up again when we talk about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Aggressiveness can win you games. It can.
It can.
And we have an example of it. So we can't only want to do it when it wins us games because you don't know that you're going to win the games while you're playing them.
That's true.
So criticizing being aggressive when you lose, it's one of those things where it's a double-edged sword where you have to decide, like, are you going to complain about it when it doesn't work and cheer about it when it works? Because that's a conflicting viewpoint.
Agreed.
You either have to be aggressive or conservative when it comes to base running.
Mm-hmm.
You can't only be a fan of one or the other when it works and doesn't work. You can't be a fan of conservative base running when aggressive base running costs you outs. You can't be a fan of conservative base running when you see aggressive base running literally helping us win games. It literally plated the first 2 runs for the Brewers by them scoring on what people call quote-unquote productive outs, but just putting the ball in play, scoring runs because guys went first to third, doing things like that, being aggressive on the base paths. That shit matters.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Third game of the Pirates series. What stood out to you from that one, besides Colin Ray?
Well, I said my stat too early, by the way.
You did.
Also,
okay. Do you want to answer Brett's question before this?
Oh, yes.
Or after?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that I'm actually okay with giving Toro a shot. He's a switch hitter, so we could use another one of those guys. I think that he was playing pretty good defense. He plays multiple positions, I believe, third and second, correct? Or is he primarily just third?
I
thought he played some second.
He's second and third base. I don't know if he plays any shortstop. I don't know.
I think he's just second and third base, which, whatever, that's fine. I just don't know who you get rid of at this point.
Right.
We're not putting Owen Miller down. They're not just going to get rid of Rowdy Tellez. Like, that's
right.
not going to happen.
I don't have any current issues with the way that Andrew Monasterio is playing. He's playing good defense. Having him available as a pinch runner, honestly, is helpful.
Yeah, it is.
I don't have any complaints about Andrew Monasterio, so I'm not opposed to Toro. I like him, but I just don't think that there's somebody that needs to be sent down in favor of him.
I actually have an opinion on what Brett just said right now. He said, trade deadline, we need to be buyers for some relief help. It always seems to be in the 6th or 7th, we always give up so many hits and walks. See, that's the thing. I feel like the Brewers pitching can be so dominant for 90% of the game, and we have one inning where we just get rocked.
Let me throw this out to you, Brett. The Brewers signed Justin Wilson in the offseason. He's making rehab appearances. He's a left-handed reliever who's a 3.41 career ERA. Michael said he's not sure where he read it, but he thought that Turo played third, second, and first. I will look it up while Jake gives his thoughts on the third Pirates game, and I will get back to you. So, Jake, third Pirates game, what stood out to you?
Third Pirates game gave me my power pitcher this week, Colin Ray, and he was tremendous. 6 2/3, 5 hits, only 1 walk, only 2 earned runs, and the 3 Ks. The guy had 20 of 22 first pitch strikes. The guy was phenomenal. He was locating. He was throwing the fastball good, throwing the slider good. He was great. Hobie Milner comes in for his role where he absolutely just shits on the other team's left-handed hitter. So love to see that. Elvis Paguero was Elvis Paguero. He gave up 1 run, but he was falling behind a lot of hitters. He was only 1 for 5 in first pitch strikes. So he was falling behind a lot of guys and had to work back in the counts. But Devin Williams was Devin Williams. I mean, we heard the news after this game that he got his second All-Star appearance. He also got his 17th save of the season this day. So I just want to point out, first of all, you just talked about Monasterio. He had an RBI in this game, big boy RBI. But William Contreras absolutely unloaded on a fucking baseball, dude. After we gave up a 2-run homer.
Yep.
And this is the thing that is giving me so much hope.
Mm-hmm.
A left-handed pitcher, I don't give a shit who it is. The Brewers struggle against lefties.
Yep.
A left-handed pitcher, we put up a 3 spot, and we responded immediately. And if the Mets series wasn't enough, or the game before this where we won 11-8, and it took a lot of guts to get through that one with all the rain delays and everything that was going on with that, this game gave me hope because of responding immediately against a lefty pitcher. That is a very positive sign to me.
Mm-hmm.
And Willie started hitting lefties a little bit this week too. So I was like,
He needs it.
Oh, he does. He does so bad. And we love Willie. Like, You're not going to hear us say a bad word about him. We'll say that he's struggling. We'll tell you that. We're not going to say that he's the best shortstop in baseball.
Look at how he can improve.
Unless he decides to play like the best shortstop, then we'll tell you he is, right?
Right.
Kind of like Christian Yelich. He wasn't, he was struggling. He was hurt. But right now, he's absolutely hitting the cover off the ball. So we're going to tell you that, right? And Willie needs it. But back to Contreras, he unloaded. He knew it was gone. He knew it was going in the little fence right there, where it's open by the bullpen. So absolutely unloaded. I love that we responded right away. And we added the insurance runs in the 8th because obviously they came up pretty big. 8th and 9th, I should say. But, yeah, the Brewers won this game. They're 5-1 against Pittsburgh after this one, and we won't see them again until August for a 4-game series in Milwaukee. So that's going to be tough because they're going to have some guys back off injury.
Okay, so I want to get back to Michael and Brett, what they were talking about with Abraham Toro. Abraham Toro has played 267 games in the majors over 5 seasons. He has made 8 appearances at first base. So he's very much primarily a second baseman, third baseman. Okay.
I want to answer one thing about Brett right here. This one.
Yep, I was going to come back to. Yep, that's the other one I was going to come back to.
Yeah, so if we're sending anybody to the bullpen, and Tyler and I both pointed this out a couple weeks ago, it's going to be Adrian Hauser. I think he would be tremendous out of the bullpen. He's a veteran pitcher. He's kind of a change of pace guy. He's a ground ball guy. So that just reads bullpen to me.
Yep. He could be a long reliever for you as well.
Yeah.
Michael said, I'm not really sure we have to be buyers. So many players coming back, both pitchers and fielders. Some of them middle relief as Lauer. Woodruff starter pushes another to middle relief. And that, like Jake just said, it's Adrian Hauser. They've shown that they already want to do that with him.
Yep. Dude, if we get Woodruff back to form, oh, baby.
He's thrown 2 days in a row, I believe, out of the bullpen. They're throwing in a bullpen for 2 days. So,
oh, baby. We get Woody and I'm so excited. I can't even talk. I'm so excited.
And Ashby's getting close as well. And that's where, like Michael said, using Lauer either in the bullpen or just leaving him in AAA to figure out whatever he's got going on.
Yeah, he's been giving up a lot of home run balls. So hopefully he can get a little better command of some of that stuff because he was really good for us last year.
So essentially you're going to be looking at Burns, Woodruff, Peralta, Miley, Ray, and then maybe Ashby. And whatever they decide to do with Julio Teheran, whether they keep him as the 6th starter until Ashby's healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're good. You're good to go. I think they'll probably, Brett, what I really think they'll do is they'll run a 6-man rotation.
I think so too. Give those guys an extra day off before we make the playoffs and win the NL Central, which is going to be awesome.
And we've seen Craig Counsell do things like piggybacking starters. So maybe you pair an Ashby and a Julio Teheran, a righty and a lefty together, stuff like that.
Yep.
Depth always helps, so we're in agreement on that.
Good problem to have.
Exactly. So Colin Ray just absolutely pouring in strikes, and the Pirates just swinging away. He gave up 2 hits in the 2nd inning, a double on a low curveball, and a home run on a middle fastball. He just missed his spot with that one. The curveball I'm not super concerned about. That's just a good hit, and the fastball to me, like I said, just missed his spot. So 2-0 after the bottom of the 2nd inning. Top of the 3rd inning, Joey Wiemer, a 10-pitch at bat, ended in a ground out. This is one of those things where it shows up in a ground out in the box score, but for Joey Wiemer to take an at bat to 10 pitches, I do give him credit for that. That's Joey Wiemer seeing the ball better, which is important because he does have a tendency, especially when he wants to make plays, to expand his strike zone a little bit to his detriment sometimes.
Yeah, and he pulls the head a little bit, but he's young, so.
Right, and I get it. He wants to make plays. He wants to make impressions, so it is what it is. Top of the 3rd, that's where that happened. Raimel Tapia got hit by a pitch. Andrew Monasterio drew a walk, and then William Contreras, just an absolute no-doubt home run on a 3-1 count, made the game 3-2 as the 2nd longest home run by a Brewer this season, 435 feet. Jake got so excited that he tipped over his laptop. It was 109.9 miles an hour off the bat. That was actually the 2nd longest home run this season, only to himself. His longest home run is 440 feet.
Oops.
I'm glad you came back quickly because I have a stat for you after William Contreras' home run.
Yes.
William Contreras has 9 home runs. 5 of them are against left-handed pitching.
He hits lefties good. That's one of the reasons they traded for him.
So bottom of the third, the Pirates had 7 first pitch swings in a row. Brett said he's so exciting, but not so much to tip you over.
My freaking hand got stuck in my headphones cord and it just ripped it right down. And I was like, oh, geez, I'm so strong.
Colin Ray got Brian Reynolds looking, retired 6 straight batters after the home run. So good work by him. Mm-hmm. Colin Ray made bottom of the fourth, made quick work of that inning. Top of the fifth, the Brewers got a pair of 2-out runners. William Contreras reached on an error. Willie Adames had a hustle double, ended up stranded. Bottom of the fifth, Pirates had a guy reach on the error, bunted him over. Now listen. The Pirates executed a sacrifice bunt. You might ask why. And I'm strongly against it because it just does not correlate to scoring multiple runs. This was their number 9 hitter. Their number 9 hitter has a 168 batting average.
Mm-hmm.
You're essentially looking at the pitcher's spot.
Yep.
That's why they bunted. Not because it is to the benefit of scoring multiple runs. They did it because the guy has a 168 batting average. And it turned the lineup over. Followed up with a walk. And then 2 on, 1 out for Reynolds. Gets a fielder's choice. Pirates had second and third with 2 outs. Gets McCutcheon into an inning ground out. Thank you for the free out on the bunt. Because had you not bunted, had that guy reached base or, the lineup just continues, that ground out by McCutcheon would have produced a run.
So can I go a little bit ahead? Because I texted you something about the game when we were watching it. The most hilarious thing about that bunt is that when his next at bat, he ripped a single. The 9-hole hitter ripped a single his next at bat.
Yeah.
And you essentially took the bat out of his hands because a baseball stat from 1986 told you that bunting means you're going to score. It's 2023, people. Get with the times.
You wonder why teams don't do it because it doesn't benefit you. It increases your chance of scoring 1 run. It decreases your chance of scoring 2 or more.
Yep.
Okay. Bottom of the 6th inning, Colin Ray gets another 1-2-3 at 79 pitches. Bottom of the 7th, Colin Ray gets his longest outing in back-to-back starts. So last week was Colin Ray's longest outing at 6 1/3. This week he goes 6 2/3. Only gave up 2 hits after giving up the home run.
Hey, next outing, 7 innings pitched.
I am so here for it. Top of the 8th, Brewers come out, 2 2-out base runners. Blake Perkins just leaving it all out there. Bryce Durang's hustle causes an errant throw, and the Brewers score 2 runs, makes it 5-2. Bryce Durang did get thrown out at second base, but I mean, in the excitement of it all, Brewers got 2 runs. That's what's important.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom of the 8th, the Pirates did get 2 2-out hits off Elvis Peguero, made the game 5-3. Top of the 9th, Joey Wiemer reached on an error, and then Raimel Tapia put down a sacrifice bunt. Now, here's the thing. The Brewers followed that up with a double by Andrew Monasterio, made it 6-3, and a single by William Contreras. Joey Wiemer still would have scored had he not bunted.
Yes.
And here's the thing. The only thing that would have prevented Joey Wiemer from scoring is Raimel Tapia grounding into a double play. Raimel Tapia is not a slow man. No. He's also Jake's underrated performer this week because he's doing well at the plate. You did not need to sacrifice Raimel Tapia. If he gets on, you're looking at a 7-3 game, which, it is what it is. The likelihood that Raimel Tapia grounds into a double play is, I'm willing to bet, lower than his batting average.
I would agree.
At that point, keep the bat in his hands. And his plate discipline has also been good.
Yeah, it is. Good defense, too. But very underrated pickup at this point.
So I guess my point is that Weimer still would have scored outside of the off chance that Ryan Tapia grounds into a double play, which, like I said, I believe that the likelihood of him grounding into a double play is lower than his batting average. So then I want him batting.
I agree.
Okay, and we saw the day before, too. The Pirates are capable of scoring a bunch of runs.
Yes, they are.
So I don't want to be winning a game by 2 runs if you have the opportunity to be winning a game by 4 runs. I want to score as many times as possible.
And, there's going to be people out there that are going to be like, yeah, but you can't guarantee 4 runs. Well, you can't guarantee the guy after a bunt scores either.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes your chances down. And again, not to harp on it, but the Brewers are better this last week, but on the season, their numbers are not great batting with runners in scoring position. So it's not like it matters if he's on second or first.
You also cannot guarantee that your opponent is not going to score runs when they come up to bat, especially when you're on the road and your opponent gets the bat last.
Right? So it's just not making sense to me.
So the Pirates did get the bat last. Devin Williams only needed 9 pitches to finish. 4 saves on the road trip for Devin Williams in 7 wins. Like Jake said, 7-3 on the road trip is huge. And then the Brewers come home.
What a game.
That was Colin Ray's longest start since July 6, 2016.
Yep. For Seattle, I believe it was.
I don't even know because I was much younger and not paying as close attention to the everyday ins and outs of baseball.
Agreed. But I think I saw.
Nor did I know who Colin Ray was.
Neither did I.
Didn't even really know who he was in 2022.
Yeah, for real. He was some guy that went over and played in another league.
He was in Japan last year. That's where the Brewers got him from.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to game 1 against the Cubs. Monday's game.
All right. I'm going to get into it. Everybody was complaining about Julio Teheran, and they missed Brian Anderson this game. I said it on literally every single post when people were complaining about us down 6-0. They missed Brian Anderson's defense at third base. We also had an error in the first inning by Owen Miller that didn't help.
Yep.
And I, honest to God, think that Julio Teheran was doing his job. That is what he does. He gives up contact. We've just been playing really good defense.
The Adrian Hauser start against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's almost the same exact thing. And I think that he was doing his job. He was, and even when I was talking to my dad, he was like, "Oh, has Teheran lost gas?" And I'm like, "He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's doing what he's been doing. He's getting ground balls.
Yep.
At that point, it's out of your hands. You're a ground ball guy. You get the guy to hit a ground ball. I really think that Brian Anderson gets a couple of those ground balls. I'm not going to lie to you.
I understand.
The way that his defense has been playing, he could have saved us a few of those runs. Now, in the long run, because we have hindsight, it didn't cost us this game, right?
Right.
Thank God. Oh, my God. It can literally not happen against a better team to blow us 6-0.
Right?
It can not happen against a better team. But holy shit, man. Yelly gets a triple. Nuts. Also gets his 19th stolen base of the year. Weimer 11. Monasterio gets his 3rd. Adames with 2 RBIs. And little hindsight, I will say that I have a friend because you're not really friends with him. But we know a guy who's a big old Cubs fan, and he was talking shit. And he was saying that all these guys are trash, and this guy's trash, and we're trash here, and trash. Well, I loved it that Yelly and Adames and Contreras, all the people that he said were trash, were the ones that were leading the comeback because poetic justice, baby. Poetic fucking justice. Contreras, Miller, Jones. Jones gets signed that day and gets the biggest hit of the day. What the hell, dude?
So awesome.
He ripped that son of a bitch, too.
So awesome.
Ripped it. Devin Williams was shut down in this one. Payamps was shut down. Bukakis made his Brewers debut, and he was pretty damn good in my opinion. So
he could have been an underrated performer this week.
He could have been. I was going to give him a little bit more time because he's only had 2 outings so far.
Right.
But if he continues the way he's going, he's going to be a power pitcher, not an underrated performer. We'll just say that what he's doing right now.
Yep.
But dude, I'm going to let you do the breakdown, and I'm just going to kind of chime in when I feel like it's necessary. But I really wanted to say that about Julio Teheran because everybody was literally bitching about him. It's like, dude, do you understand how this works?
Apparently not. He should have had a 5-pitch first inning. Owen Miller had his 4th of the season. I'm not worried about it.
Thanks for invite all your friends that we're talking about Abraham Toro. We'd really appreciate that. We like the comments, man. It keeps us going, gives us energy. So bring them all with, and you keep coming back as well. Brett with double T's.
He's starting the next generation too. When he turns us on, his little one goes, "Wisco guys." That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Okay. So, like I said, Tehran should have had a 5-pitch first inning. The error by Owen Miller, not a big deal. Tehran followed it up with a strikeout of Ian Happ to end the inning. Bottom of the first inning, Christian Yelich gave one a ride, 103 miles an hour off the bat. Is what it is. Willie Adames also hit a hard hit liner. His was 94.5 miles an hour off the bat. So good contact, just 4 outs. Is what it is. Happens. Top of the second, Joey Wiemer is so close to robbing a double. I don't feel that this is one of those things where you need to get on Joey Wiemer for not making this play just because he's made so many plays. That's unfair. For a guy to make a ton of plays and then for you to expect him to make the spectacular ones.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where if Joey Wiemer makes this play, it's awesome. Off the thumb of his glove, he just missed it by a little bit. Cubs followed with a single and a double, and it was 2-0 with 0 outs in the inning. Tucker Barnhart followed with a single, made it 3-0. Bottom of the second inning, Andrew Monasterio extended his base streak to 4, his hit streak to 3. Brewers didn't get any runs that inning, but Cubs got 3 2-out hits, made it 6-0 in the top of the third. That would be it for the Cubs.
Ha!
Bottom of the third, Bryce Durang drew a 1-out walk. William Contreras hit a double to left center, made the game 6-1. Christian Yelich followed with a pulled triple. That's the one that Jake mentioned before. That was 98 miles an hour off the bat. Into third base standing. Like he pulled up cruising speed and just like, yeah, I'll stick with the triple.
Bill Schroeder said that too. He said, because they were showing the highlight of him running, he was like, he was kind of jogging there. And I'm like, bro, jogging? He got a triple jogging? It's ridiculous.
He could have hit a triple and rounded third base. Like that's how fast he is.
Right.
Willie Adames followed that up with a single, made the game 6-3. Owen Miller and Blake Perkins struck out to end the third. Sorry. Yeah, that was the third. Top of the fourth, Cubs got a 2-out single, nothing else. Bottom of the fourth, the Brewers had 2 walks that were stranded on base. Top of the fifth, Julio Tehran, 1-2-3 inning. Bottom of the fifth, Brewers stranded 2 more walks. Top of the sixth, Julio Tehran, 1-2-3 inning. Tehran retired 9 straight batters after giving up 6 runs.
Yeah, he settled in for sure.
So good for him, like you mentioned, for guys eating innings. Julio Tehran doing it in this game. A couple people commented on it on our winning graphic for that day, that Julio Tehran could have been an underrated performer for eating innings after giving up 6 earned runs.
Yeah,
that stuff is still important when it comes to bullpen usage because we've seen what it can do when your bullpen is spread too thin and you have to use guys you aren't comfortable with in certain situations. The example being having to use Matt Bush in a save situation.
Yep.
Council's hand was kind of forced that situation. So, top of the 7th, and this is one of 2 outings for JB Bukauskas. Hit by pitch on the leadoff batter, follows with a double play, gives up a walk, and then gets a line out. This is what I feel is a really underrated inning for him, even though the Brewers are still down by 3 runs, to pitch a scoreless 7th to keep it at 3. And for being a guy who's not super experienced to do so. So, bottom of the 7th, Christian Yelich has a single, 108 miles an hour off the bat. Owen Miller gets a 2-out walk. Raimel Tapia draws a 2-out walk. They send up Jesse Winker for Andrew Monasterio. The Cubs make a pitching change, and then Council brings up another pinch hitter and brings up Jahmai Jones, signed that morning. On the day he was signed, the first pitch that he sees in a Brewers uniform rips a double to center field, 108.6 miles an hour off the bat.
He was raking in AAA San Antonio.
And here's the thing, Oklahoma City,
sorry.
Jahmai Jemai Jones was batting .368 versus lefties in AAA.
Holy shit.
You wonder why the Brewers picked him up? Because he hits lefties.
Yeah, but,
368 versus lefties in AAA.
The manager, the owner, the GM, they don't care. They don't want to win. This team has no nuts.
Fucking Matt Arnold masterclass. Get out of here with that shit.
Yeah.
That was masterclass by Matt Arnold to grab this guy.
I agree. What a moment for him, by the way.
Wow. Absolutely. And you could see just how excited he was. It was awesome. Awesome.
That was man. That was crazy.
Brewers got a walk and a double play after that. A walk and a hit by pitch after that. Bryce Durang struck out with the bases loaded on a 3-2 pitch. A low middle in pitch. Bryce, you got to swing at that pitch, buddy.
Even if you're just protecting, man, you choke up, you protect.
Yeah.
You live another pitch, man.
Yeah.
Those are the learning moments, though.
Got to
swing
at the pitch, buddy.
Yeah, I agree.
It's an experience building opportunity for him, but swing at that pitch, bud.
Yeah. I'm sure they all told him that.
I'm sure they did. Top of the eighth, Payamps gets a 1-2-3 inning. Bottom of the eighth, William Contreras leads off with this opposite field single. Christian Yelich hits a single, steals second base. Willie Adames hits a single. Brewers are up 7-6. Owen Miller gets a sac fly, makes it 8-6. And then top of the ninth, Devin Williams comes in, gives up a 1-out double, gives up a 2-out walk, and then strikes out Dansby Swanson on a painted corner strike 3 and a relatively stressless appearance.
All right, let's get into this. I'm gonna talk about David Ross.
Just want to throw out with Monday's game, William Contreras 2 for 5, Christian Yelich 3 for 4 with a walk, Willie Adames 2 for 5, Jemai Jones, who I mentioned, batting .368 versus lefty. This was also the Brewers' biggest comeback since June 30th, 2021. Do you remember what that game was?
Oh, I remember. 15 unanswered.
Aaron Ashby's debut. Brewers were down 7-0, came back to win 15-7.
Dude, oh, what a day. What a day. We literally sent them into a rebuild. We forced the Cubs into a rebuild. Oh, baby.
Oh, man, that game was so fun.
Good.
Okay, let's talk about last night's game. A lot of opinions about last night's game. Yesterday afternoon's game.
Yeah. I got some opinions.
Okay.
So let's get into Wade Miley. He was okay. He was all right. The Cubs are a pretty good contact hitting team. I will give them credit for that.
Yep.
That
good on base team.
That hurt to say. Bryce Wilson.
It's a fact. So, I mean, you might as well just accept it.
It is. They have a good lineup. And Swanson just does not get out. For some goddamn reason, he's going to get on base, and it's really annoying.
Yep.
And I'm literally, like, pissing my pants every time that this guy's up the back. So I'm like, what's he going to do now? Is he going to hit a triple this time? Is he going to freaking do a backflip and hit a home run against us? This guy does everything against us. It sucks. But Bryce Wilson, he was all right. Didn't have his sharpest stuff, in my opinion. Hobie Milner gave up a run as well. After that, Bukakis, lockdown. Peguero, lockdown. It wasn't really until – and this sucks because we had to use Andrews in that situation, but I do want to give credit to the Milwaukee Brewers, dude. Down in this game again early, and for them literally to have the guts to come back and tie this game was uncalled for. I'll say that. Now I'm going to get into a few opinions. I'll wait to do my extra inning opinions until you do the breakdown when we get to that point. But I am going to talk about Ross's comments after the game. I don't know if you heard them. Did you hear them? Closing the roof during our time to get rid of the shadows. We don't get to make that call, fucking moron.
Literally, it has to be approved by the umpiring crew.
Yeah. And I'm sure they asked when the Cubs were up to bat. Like, I'm sure they're not just doing it for our own convenience.
It's not like there's a dude in a Brewers uniform, like, holding a button to open and close the roof.
Yeah, like it's like it has to be approved, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, fucking moron. Second of all, he's like, there's some pitches that were strikes that weren't even close. Like, do you think
they were for both teams?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
The umpiring scorecard showed that the umpire was 97% consistent.
I was going to say that's what I was going to say. I was going to be like, do you think that your pitchers were just perfect painting the corners? Like,
yeah.
You are the perfect manager for the Cubs because you sound just as dumb as their fucking fans, dude.
It wasn't a perfect umpire, by any means when you talk about balls and strikes, but he was consistent at least. So I can't really complain. Like the Brewers had some bad pitches called against them. They also had some bad pitches called for them.
How many times
consider the umpiring a wash in this one?
How many times do we say that about basketball? If you're going to call shitty calls, call it both ways, right?
Yep.
I feel the same way about every single ref or ump or whatever goddamn word you want to put in there. The guy that is officiating, right?
Yep.
If they're going to be shitty, just be shitty for both teams, because then both teams have to fucking figure it out, which is exactly what happened.
Yep.
So for him to fucking complain, and I'm sorry that I'm swearing so much, but it just made me so annoyed. For him to sit there and complain about balls and strikes when his team's getting the same exact calls is ridiculous.
Yep.
And ignorant, in my opinion.
So whiny. Especially for a game that your team won.
Yeah, man. Like, what the? Come on. You sound like you want. Yeah, it's just. I thought he was just a big baby for that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that sounded whiny. I agree with you.
Yeah, that's really all I want to talk about. I'll wait until to give the extra inning stuff till you get to that part of the breakdown.
So, Brewers' first time through the order were retired in order. I feel like every time we play against Kyle Hendricks, he either pitches a gem or like once out of every 5 times he gets rocked.
Yeah.
There's no in between. There's no scenario where Kyle Hendricks pitches 5 2/3 innings and gives up 3 earned runs on 5 hits and 2 walks.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground. He either dominates the Brewers or he gets rocked.
Yep.
So, top of the second inning, 2 extra base hits give the Cubs a 1-0 lead. Top of the third, Dansby Swanson hits a solo shot, makes it 2-0. Top of the fifth, Cubs grab 2 more on a walk, a double, and a sac fly, and then a Bellinger single. Bottom of the fifth, Owen Miller hit a 1-out single, stole second base, got over to third base on a Blake Perkins ground out, scored on a Bryce Terang single, made it 4-1. Bottom of the sixth, Christian Yelich, 1-out single, stole second base, scored on William Contreras single, made it 4-2. Top of the eighth, Bryce Wilson got the first out, gave up a single. Hobie Miller came in, gave up a single, got a strikeout, and then a 2-run double, made it 6-2 Cubs. Bottom of the eighth, Joey Wiemer hit by a pitch. Christian Yelich and Jesse Winker flew out, and the Brewers rallied. We know how this game ended, but the fact of the matter is the Brewers rallied down by 4 with 2 outs.
Yes, they did.
William Contreras hit a single. Rowdy Tellez hit a single. Game was 6-3. Willie Adames ripped a double. The game was 6-4. So it's within striking distance going into the 9th inning. J.B. Bukauskas comes in, gets a 1-2-3 top of the 9th with 2 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Dude, 2 super underrated appearances by J.B. Bukauskas this week.
Nuts.
He's got some.
Yeah, he does.
Bottom of the 9th, Tapia leads off with a single. Bryce Terang hits a single. Joey Wiemer struck out. This is where his plate discipline just needs to be a little bit better for Joey Wiemer. I get he wants to make plays, and I have no problems with that. But just got to be a little more selective with when you're going to try to do those things. Mm-hmm. Brewers followed Christian Yelich with another clutch hit. Gets a single, makes it 6-5. Jesse Winker hit by a pitch. William Contreras gets a sac fly to tie the game. And Rowdy Tellez struck out. And that's where I wanted to ask the question of what do we do with Rowdy? We'll get to it because there is a little bit of news on that front. So we can talk about that in a minute. Now, following this, top of the 10th, Willie Adames. Great play to jump and snag the ball out of the air and flip over to Bryce Terang for a double play. Great way to go with that inning. Elvis Peguero, good stuff.
No, just ask Wilkins. That was an easy play. He literally said that.
If Dansby Swanson did it, never mind. I'm not even going to say what he'd be doing. Bottom of the 10th, Brewers were aggressive with Andrew Monasterio on a single. Ended the inning at second base with Owen Miller trying to stretch it into a double or to get to second base on the throw. Mm-hmm. Top of the 11th, the Cubs did get a lead after a wild pitch, allowed Bellinger to get to third. That's unfortunately what ended up being the deciding thing with a 2-out single by Nico Horner to make it 7-6. Bottom of the 11th, Owen Miller's on third base on a Tapia ground out, got out tagging up on a fly ball. So 2 instances we're looking at. One with Andrew Monasterio on a single, and then one with Owen Miller tagging up on a fly ball. 2 outs made it home plate in extra innings. So where are you coming down on this?
Okay, so I'm going to start with the positive. I'm okay with the sending of Miller in the 11th. I'm 100% okay with that one. That one legitimately makes sense to me.
Okay.
The one in the 10th inning was dumb. I'm not even going to mince words. He was not even at third base when Happ caught the ball. He wasn't even touching third base yet, and you still sent him. That to me is a bad send, because if he catches that and we get the third, right, or if it was a single, so he's going to be at third with 1 out.
Mm-hmm.
You're still in a good situation where if you hit a fly ball deep enough, and yes, it sucks that it went to Happ, because Happ is a good player too.
He is,
as much as that hurts to say, but he's a good player too. He's a Gold Glove level left fielder. He has a good arm, obviously. I mean, he's pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And I have absolutely nothing wrong with your mindset of making them make plays. I have nothing wrong with that. But I feel like the situation where he was still rounding the base while he caught it, I don't think that was it. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of like in a situation where, like, we had moments last year, and I'm not going to dog on Javon Carter, but, you know, in the playoffs against the Heat, the Bucks are making a run. Javon Carter comes in for his 10 minutes in the playoff game, and the Bucks are chipping away at the lead, and Javon Carter gets a pull-up 3. And, yes, he was hitting those all year long, but in the playoffs is different. Like, every possession really matters that much more.
Yep.
So in that time, in that place, for him to pull up a transition 3, it's a bad shot. Like let's call it what it is, right? So sending him on that, and I wouldn't have been upset if he didn't already have the ball in his hand, you know, and he just wasn't on third yet. And that was what the most dumbfounded thing to me was, like, you can see him. You're supposed to be the eyes for him as he's running. So I would have just held him at third. The one in the 11th, though, people need to not complain about that one, because that one's like a legit baseball play. Like that's the people that are mad about that are the people that have the mindset of bunting runners over and trying to create one run, which is, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the mindset of those people, is to get one run. So that one, I understand. I get it, because you only need one run to win,
Right.
or tie it, right? But
Right.
it is what it is. I just didn't like the send in the 10th. That's the only problem. I didn't have a problem with Owen Miller trying to take second. I didn't have a problem with that at all. I didn't have the problem with the send in the 11th.
Should be taking second when that throw goes to the plate.
Right. The only thing I have a problem with is sending him when he already had the ball in his hands. He's not even at third base.
So my philosophy. Let me do my philosophy first, and then I'll give what my analysis / adjustment would be. Mm-hmm. So my philosophy is on this, that if you're a fan of being aggressive on the bases, which I am, because the Brewers are a low batting average, low on base percentage team, you have to be aggressive on the bases when you get guys on base. Mm-hmm. That's just something in my opinion, you have to do when you don't get guys on base very often. That's why I don't get mad when guys get thrown out, because you're being aggressive on the bases. You are forcing your opponent to make plays.
Yeah.
Which, to Ian Happ's credit, he made 2 consecutive plays. He made 2 consecutive perfect throws. It was nothing, no ill will towards anything about those plays. For those wanting Jason Lane fired because of one game of questionable third base coaching is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you're fine with it until there's something to be not fine with. And then people go all the way to the extreme of, we need to fire this guy.
They do it with Counsell all the time.
Counsell's the manager, though. That's the thing. Like, Counsell's in the same position that Budenholzer was in. But you're looking at the 4th guy in charge.
Yeah.
Fire that guy because of 2 decisions.
Come on.
Out of, right. I don't know how many guys the Brewers had in scoring position all season. But the fact of the matter is that after this game, the Brewers had scored 6 or more runs in 5 straight games.
Yeah, the offense is coming alive a little bit.
That's super encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my adjustment for this situation for Jason Lane, if I was to be Craig Counsell or Matt Arnold in this position, looking at Jason Lane saying, how can we avoid this in the future? is Major League Baseball draws that little bracket for the base coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
They should stop drawing those. It's bullshit. No coaches are standing in that little box. They don't enforce it. What I would suggest with Jason Lane is to get closer to home plate, because, I mean, unless you're standing on the plate, it doesn't seem like they're going to be doing anything to stop you from moving closer. So would be get closer to home plate so you're almost looking directly at your base runner and the left fielder in the line.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the throw as it's coming in. If it looks like it's on line, put up the stop sign, even if the guy is 4 steps past the base. Have him go back. I mean, I would be willing to bet 99 times out of 100 as the ball comes through the infield to the catcher, you're not getting a guy at third base who's have a stop sign put on to go 5 feet back to third base.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, I don't think that throw is being made by the catcher.
Yeah.
And if he tries to make that throw, then you're willingly inviting the guy who hit the ball to go straight to second base, and you're looking at second, third with 1 out.
Yeah.
Exact same thing with the tag up. And that ball wasn't shallow. It wasn't super deep, but it was in the middle. And you're with Owen Miller on base. He's not the fastest guy on the team. He's not the slowest guy on the team. He's not a slow guy by any means. But if Jason Lane can get closer to be kind of in line with the guy on base and the throw, and if he can see, as best as he can, the throw, if it's coming on line or if it looks like it's going to go wide towards the first base side or towards the dugouts, send him. Have him tag up, take 4 or 5 steps off the bag, and then be ready to make that call. That's what I would say. Because I want the Brewers to continue to remain aggressive. I don't want to see a more consecutive or conservative base running approach because of this one game. That's what I don't want to happen. I don't want them to be afraid to send runners because it didn't work out this one game.
Yeah. So, actually, I wrote down in my notes to bring up Frelick again. And I'm really glad that this worked out the way that it did. But you brought up having Monasterio up because we're not sending him down for Toro. It's nice to have him as an extra base runner.
Yep.
Frelick is a guy known for having really, really good speed. And if we could bring him up and he can just, platoon, maybe in right field or left field or even center field, and having him on the bench as a guy that is another option for a pinch runner, a guy that's known for speed, I think that benefits us as well.
I don't have a guy that I can send down to make room for Frelick right now. I don't. And I love Sal Frelick.
I know, but
really
Tapia is playing good and Weimer's still playing good. Yelich,
and the thing is, we don't have a 40-man roster spot for him right now.
Yeah. Sucks, man.
So let me ask this question, and we can kind of tie this into what's next. But what do the Brewers do with Rowdy Tellez? Because today they put him on the 10-day injured list, so there is some news with Rowdy Tellez, so there is something going on. Now, he was placed on the 10-day injured list with forearm inflammation. This is something they said has been bothering him for a couple of days, but shouldn't have affected his hitting. So it's not like they can blame, a month and a half of no home runs on this forearm inflammation. Mm-hmm. In the same group of moves, Brian Anderson was reinstated from the paternity list, so he is back. Mike Brasso was DFA'd. He's struggling even in AAA, which is unfortunate because he's done some good things. Thomas Pannone was released. He might be back. And then Tyson Miller and J.C. Mejia were recalled from AAA Nashville, and Clayton Andrews and J.B. Bukowskis were optioned to AAA Nashville. So more bullpen moves, which should be expected.
Right.
Now, let's ask the question, what can the Brewers do with Rowdy Tellez?
This is kind of heavy. And I'm going to tell you, off the bat, they're not getting rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that. But I feel like the 10-day DL, and you have the All-Star break, crunched in the middle of that. I feel like just having time away from baseball, and because like you said, we're in the middle of a 17-game and 17-day stretch. That's a fucking grind, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they talk about it all the time with pitchers where with the pitch clock, you know, if you know, you have one bad inning, it could snowball really fast, you know, because you don't get that time to step off and do the rosin and fix your hat, wipe your sweat, whatever. I feel like the same thing could happen to hitters this year because of that pitch clock as well.
Yep.
And I feel like that's kind of what's happening to Rowdy. So him having some time away, I think will be honestly a really, really good thing. I think you let him have his time away. You still want him to think about baseball. You want him to get healthy. But in the long run, we brought him in to be our first baseman, right? That's what we made the trade for. And last year, the guy led us in home runs with 35, I believe, 34, 35. He was second in RBIs with 89. We're not getting rid of this guy.
Right.
This guy is a run producer for us. So we're going to hope that, and that sounds like a crazy thing, but we're going to have faith and we're going to have hope that he's going to get right. And maybe him stepping away from baseball for a couple of days is a good thing for him.
So I'll look into it because I'm going to look and see how he did in between pitches last year to see if he was one of those guys who took 10, 15 seconds or if he was ready to be right back in there. And I'll look and see if I feel that he's been affected by it. And maybe that's something we can speak to.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you this on purpose because I saw it pop up before I asked this question. Pre-game, the Brewers infield coach was working with Jermaine Jones at first base.
No.
Yeah.
Really? What a move, dude. What a move. If that guy can rake, dude, holy shit.
I mean, Owen Miller is going to be playing the primary first base. He played 80 games at first base last year, so he's going to be playing a lot of first base. But, I mean, if Jermaine Jones can
what's his natural position?
Jermaine Jones, he's an outfielder.
Huh.
So if he can find a way to play a little bit of defense at first base, he might be hard to kick off the team.
He's going to be really hard to kick off the team if he's raking, dude.
Especially against lefties.
Yeah. And
he is the DH for tonight's game.
Interesting. Having Anderson's defense back will be really,
yes,
really
I'm looking forward to that as well. So the Brewers have tonight and tomorrow against the Cubs, and then they have 3 games versus Cincinnati, and then it's the All-Star break.
4-1.
I agree.
I really want 5-0. I was texting you about it before. I was like, imagine a perfect scenario where we go into the All-Star break over 50 wins and 40 losses, and all these people were expecting us to lick our wounds and all this stuff. We're going to be imagine us 11 games over 500, even 10, which is what we're predicting right now. Imagine us 10 games over 500 and getting an all-star pitcher back.
Man, being 11 over at the break would feel fantastic.
All I got to say is fuck what you think, bro. Seriously. Like, I saw so much goddamn whining yesterday. One chick was like, that was the worst coaching I've ever seen in my life. I was like, I wanted to go in there and be like, shut up, dude. Do you understand that we're scoring runs? We're playing a good hitting team, okay? Like, shut the fuck up. If we weren't hitting, you complain about that.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is it's really just become a reason, like, people find a reason to complain.
Dude, and she's one of those okay, I'm just going to do it. She's one of those old ladies that, like, if you wear high socks and she doesn't like it, my God, why are they wearing those high socks?
White needs to button his shirt. Robin Lopez needs a haircut.
Yeah, why is he wearing his hat brim like that? Like, shut up, okay? Jesus Christ. I went through her history of posts, dude. That's why I can say that.
Like a week ago, the thing was, the Brewers are going to be in third place by the All-Star break.
Yep, I remember. And you know what? In the offseason with the Packers and stuff, I take all the screenshots of what these motherfuckers say. I take them all. I keep them all.
The thing is, like, we are pretty active on social media.
Yeah,
not only with our own, but, like, we are in groups, obviously, to share our content because we want more people to find it. But
right.
Like, we are very active on social media to be in a position to understand what the fan base is feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So we pay attention to what social media is. And it sucks because we want to influence it so that it's more positive atmosphere, because it's not great, honestly.
It's just.
But we hope to have a positive impact on that.
If the Brewers win the next 2 games against the Cubs, right, and if they take 2 out of 3 from the Reds, do you understand how dumb you look for complaining about a loss in extra innings when literally if he doesn't make 2 perfect throws, we could win that game?
Yep.
Do you understand how dumb you look? And the thing about baseball is, to me, this might just be a hot take or an opinion. You can agree, you can disagree. I don't give a shit. Baseball is the most unpredictable sport in all of sports. You cannot control if what pitcher the pitcher's going to throw. You cannot control if they can control it. You cannot control if like the Pirates guy, right? They've sent him up there to bunt. The next at bat, he literally rips a single through the infield. You can't control that. It's the most unpredictable sport in all of sports. Football, you get it down a distance, right? You get a 4th and 11. They're not running the fucking thing. They're throwing it. Okay? Basketball, you're down by 3 with 2 seconds left. They're shooting a goddamn 3-pointer. Promise you. In hockey, they pull the goalie when you need a goal.
Right. I mean, you can look at it too. All of these sports, there's more than one day where they don't play a game every 2 weeks.
Yeah, dude. 17 straight. I don't want to go to my job for 17 days straight.
Ugh.
I don't give a shit what you're getting paid.
Man.
I don't give a shit. I don't want to be at my job for 5 days straight, dude.
Let's say this show becomes our job.
Yeah.
Like, we're not working on it 17 days straight. Like, we're going to take one day off in between there. I guarantee it. There's going to be one day where we just play like a bunch of Xbox that day.
Yeah, and we could talk about it on there. Who cares? But
Exactly.
we're not 100% thinking about it. We're going to be killing people on whatever game we're playing, right?
And that's the thing. Like, there is 17 games in 17 days, and Jake and I are going to talk about all of them. I'll be honest with you. I'm not watching all of them live.
I watch most of it live, but then sometimes I do have to catch the highlights. I get up early for work, man.
I watch replays a lot. Honestly, Bally is really, like, for as terrible as the Bally Sports app is, the replays are pretty convenient to have.
Yeah, they gotten better with the pause button because every once in a while when I'd have to pause it, it was shit and it would just go to live right away. But
you know what's super nice? I figured out I can watch Bally. If I watch it on my laptop and I watch the replays, I can use the right arrow to skip 10 seconds.
Oh, that is nice, actually.
So I can watch a full game in like barely 2 hours.
Not bad.
Really nice feature. So
I like it.
Alrighty. We are going to be back next Wednesday. We are going to have a guest next week. We're going to have Eric Agnew from the Miller Park Minute Show. He's got a pretty good following on YouTube, so definitely check him out. He does basically every single day Brewers shows. I did a fair amount of commenting on his show on Saturday after that game. He's going to be on our show next Wednesday. We're going to be talking about Milwaukee Brewers trade targets. Whether it be big ones, medium-sized ones, or underrated ones, guys they could take flyers on. We're each going to have 5 guys for the Brewers to target at the trade deadline. And then next Thursday, we are going to appear on his show and give the same 5 trade targets. So we're going to kind of just do a little crossover episode with Eric from the Miller Park Minute. And we will be back on Wednesday. So there is no Friday show this week, but Saturday, Tim, if you can make it, come out to Plymouth. Jake and I will be at Mill Street Day. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have giveaways planned, things to sell for the show, fan locks to sell to match all the Brewers and the Packers and the Badgers and the Bucks colors.
Whatever you want.
You want to ask Wisconsin sports questions so people can be part of our content, which we appreciate because we do.
Tim has to. You have to.
Do spend a lot of time curating our content for people. So, Tim, if you can make it, it's a good time. And not just for us, like Jake said earlier, Wisco Ball and Mental Health America are going to be there. So it's a good event and it's fun. Like, it's seriously street to street from end to end is packed both sides of the street with tents of vendors.
Yeah, man. I feel like we need video footage of Tim answering questions. He's a very knowledgeable guy. Even before he came on our show, he knows his stuff. Also, we need a picture with Tim, man. We need a picture with you, man. You're one of the OGs.
One of the OGs for sure. We got a picture with Taylor at the Brewer game. It's definitely fun, Tim. Definitely worth coming out.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, buddy. I will see you Saturday. I'm sure we'll talk before then, but I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. Go Brewers. Fuck the Cubs. Everybody have a good night. Be safe.